In this journey, we are going to embark on a profound transformation, a shedding of the old self and the emergence of a new, stronger, and more empowered version of you. The title of this book, Destroy the Old You and Rebuild Yourself Alone, encapsulates the essence of what this journey is all about. This process is not about changing a few surface-level aspects of your life or merely adjusting a few habits. It's about fundamentally reshaping who you are, discarding the limiting beliefs, behaviors, and patterns that have been holding you back, and stepping into a life where you're no longer a prisoner to your past. The old you, with its fears, doubts, and limitations, no longer has to define your future. You have the power to recreate yourself, alone, empowered, and with a clarity that aligns with your true potential. So, why is it necessary to destroy the old version of yourself? We live in a world where expectations, societal pressures, past traumas, and old narratives have shaped who we think we are. These influences have created a version of ourselves that is often a shadow of who we could be, restrained by the limitations of fear, self-doubt, unhealthy habits, and limiting beliefs. In many cases, this version of ourselves isn't even something we consciously chose. It's been shaped by others' perceptions, by past experiences, and by the assumptions we made about our worth and capabilities. This old you might have been useful for survival at one point in your life, but it is no longer necessary. In fact, the old you is a barrier, standing between you and your greatest potential. It's time to let go of the past, to stop carrying the weight of old experiences and toxic patterns that weigh you down, and step into a new version of yourself that is empowered, free, and capable of creating a life of purpose and meaning. As we journey together through this book, you'll learn how to destroy the old you in a way that isn't about self-rejection, but self-liberation. The process of destruction is not about self-criticism or shame, but about the courage to face the parts of yourself that have been preventing you from reaching your full potential. It's about letting go of the old habits, limiting beliefs, fears, and assumptions that no longer serve you. You'll learn how to dismantle the thought patterns that have kept you stuck, how to break free from the self-imposed chains of perfectionism and fear of failure, and how to embrace the truth of who you are, free from the burdens of external validation. Throughout this book, you will be introduced to powerful tools and techniques to help you break free from the old you. You'll learn how to transform your mindset, how to rebuild your self-esteem, and how to take responsibility for your own happiness and success. We'll work on reprogramming your subconscious mind, creating new thought patterns, and building habits that support your growth. But beyond all the tools and strategies, the most important aspect of this journey is understanding that it is possible to rebuild yourself. You are not defined by your past, nor by the version of yourself that you've been carrying around. You are capable of reinventing yourself, no matter where you are in your life or what challenges you faced. The journey may not always be easy, but it is absolutely worth it. This process of rebuilding yourself is not about trying to be someone you're not. It's about uncovering and embracing the person you were always meant to be. In the chapters that follow, you'll begin to rediscover who you truly are at your core, outside of the roles you've been playing and the identities you've taken on throughout your life. You'll come to realize that beneath the layers of fear, doubt, and conditioning of society, there's a version of you that is bold, powerful, and capable of creating the life you've always dreamed of. Rebuilding yourself is about reconnecting with your authenticity and your true purpose. It's about aligning your actions with your values and discovering a deeper sense of meaning in your daily life. As you progress through this book, you'll be given practical exercises, reflection questions, and action steps that will guide you through each phase of your transformation. These are not just theoretical concepts, but real, actionable steps that you can take right now to begin shifting your mindset, your habits, and your life. You'll learn how to become aware of the limiting beliefs and old stories you've been carrying and how to replace them with empowering, liberating beliefs that allow you to move forward. You'll learn how to silence the inner critic that keeps you from taking risks and embracing your true potential. You'll learn how to build emotional resilience so that you can weather the storms of life with confidence and strength. You'll develop a sense of inner peace that comes from knowing that you are in control of your life and your destiny. The chapters in this book are carefully designed to take you through a step-by-step process. We'll begin by acknowledging the old you, understanding the fears, beliefs, and habits that have kept you stuck in the past. From there, we'll work on breaking free from these constraints and embracing new, empowering mindsets. We'll dive deep into the importance of self-discipline, consistency, and emotional resilience in creating lasting change. Along the way, you'll learn to trust yourself and trust the process, even when it feels difficult or uncertain. By the end of this book, you'll have transformed. You will have a deeper understanding of who you are, what you're capable of, and how to move forward with clarity and purpose. You will let go of the old version of yourself, no longer shackled by fear, self-doubt, or past mistakes. You will have rebuilt yourself into someone who is aligned with their highest potential, living a life of freedom, fulfillment, and purpose. And most importantly, you will have done it all on your own, with the strength, resilience, and courage that you've discovered within yourself along the way. So, as you begin this journey, know that it won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Know that the path of transformation is one of liberation, empowerment, and growth. Know that you are capable of rebuilding yourself into the person you were always meant to be. The old you is ready to be destroyed, and the new you is waiting to emerge. Let's begin this journey of rebirth together, and let's build the life you were always meant to live. To begin any journey of transformation, the first and most crucial step is to acknowledge where you currently stand. Acknowledging the old you is not about judgment or criticism. It's about acceptance and understanding. This is a foundation upon which your entire process of change will be built. The old you might be a version of yourself shaped by past experiences, decisions, fears, and circumstances. But in order to rebuild, you must first clearly see and acknowledge that version. Only then can you begin the process of dismantling what no longer serves you, to make space for who you are becoming. Acknowledging the old you means recognizing the habits, patterns, and beliefs that have shaped your current existence. These are the things that, whether consciously or unconsciously, have been driving your thoughts, your actions, and your life choices. We often go through life on autopilot, repeating the same routines, thought processes, and behaviors, not fully aware of how they affect our growth. The first step in the transformation process is to wake up to this reality. If you're stuck in a cycle of unfulfilling relationships, poor self-esteem, self-sabotage, or a constant sense of dissatisfaction, it's important to ask yourself, why am I here? How did I get to this place? This might be an uncomfortable question to ask, but it is an essential one. In order to move forward, you must first understand the why of your present circumstances. What beliefs have you been carrying that are limiting your potential? What habits or patterns are you stuck in that have held you back from making progress? What fears are keeping you from stepping out of your comfort zone and taking risks? These are the questions that help you identify the old you, the version of yourself that has been created through years of influence from external factors, societal expectations, past traumas, and even self-imposed limitations. One of the most important aspects of acknowledging the old you is recognizing the power of the stories you've been telling yourself. We all have internal narratives that shape our sense of self-worth, our beliefs about what is possible for us, and the expectations we set for our own lives. These stories might have started in childhood, shaped by the voices of parents, teachers, or society. They might have been reinforced by experiences of failure or disappointment. Over time, these stories become so ingrained that they become our truth, even though they might not be reflective of who we truly are. I'm not good enough. I can't do that, or I'll never succeed. These are just a few examples of the stories that many of us live by. Acknowledging the old you involves recognizing these stories for what they are, stories that no longer serve you, if they ever truly did. Once you begin to see these old beliefs and patterns clearly, you may experience a sense of discomfort or even pain. You might feel angry or frustrated with yourself for having allowed these things to shape you. But this is where the power of self-compassion comes into play. Acknowledging the old you is not about criticizing yourself for past decisions or mistakes. It's about being kind and understanding with yourself, recognizing that you did the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. We are all products of our experiences, and many of the behaviors and beliefs that shaped you were adaptive at one point in your life. They may have been survival mechanisms or ways of coping with difficult circumstances, but they no longer serve you in the way they once did. Recognizing this without judgment is a crucial step in your transformation. It's also important to acknowledge the emotions tied to the old you. Our past experiences, particularly those that involve trauma or deep emotional wounds, can have a lasting impact on how we see ourselves. Maybe there are past failures or regrets that you've been carrying around for years, and these have caused you to doubt your abilities. Perhaps you've experienced rejection or loss that has left you with a lingering sense of unworthiness. Acknowledging the old you means acknowledging these emotions and not running away from them. It means facing the pain, fear, and doubt head-on and understanding that these emotions, while real, do not define you. They are simply a part of the journey you've been on, and they do not have to dictate your future. The process of acknowledging the old you also involves looking at your external circumstances. The relationships, environments, and situations you've been in, are they reflective of the person you want to become? Do the people around you support your growth, or are they holding you back with their own limitations? Are you in environments that nurture your well-being, or do they drain your energy and confidence? We often stay in situations or relationships because we're afraid of change or because we feel we don't deserve better. But acknowledging the old you means recognizing when things around you are no longer serving your highest good. It might be time to let go of relationships or situations that are keeping you stuck. This is an easy decision, but it is an empowering one. Taking the time to sit with these reflections, without rushing to fix or change anything just yet, is a powerful practice in self-awareness. It gives you the clarity to make conscious decisions about how you want to move forward. By acknowledging the old you, you are giving yourself the gift of truth. You are stepping into your own reality, unafraid to confront the parts of yourself that are holding you back. It's an act of courage to look at yourself honestly and accept that there may be things about your past, your thoughts, or your actions that are limiting you. But once you do this, you gain the power to change. You gain the power to choose differently, to decide who you want to be from this moment forward. This chapter is about preparing yourself to make the shift. Acknowledging the old you is not the end of the story. It's just the beginning. It's about clearing the space for new possibilities, for a new version of yourself that is free from the weight of the past. The truth is, transformation doesn't happen by ignoring your past or pretending that it didn't affect you. It happens by fully acknowledging it and then deciding to move beyond it. This is the first step in the process of rebuilding yourself, recognizing that the old you is not a permanent identity, but a starting point for change. As you continue through this book, you'll be given the tools to dismantle the old version of yourself and rebuild from the ground up. But first, you must take a deep, honest look at where you are, who you've been, and what has shaped you. This is the only way to move forward with clarity and intention. The process will not always be easy, but it will be worth it. And the key to making it through is acceptance, compassion, and the courage to acknowledge that the old you is just the first step on the journey to the new, empowered you. The past, in many ways, is like a heavy anchor that keeps us stuck in place. It weighs us down, holds us back, and limits our potential for growth. Breaking free from the past is one of the most essential steps in your transformation. It is about releasing the emotional baggage, the memories of past failures, traumas, mistakes, and regrets that have been holding you back. These past experiences have shaped who you are today, but they do not have to define you tomorrow. You are not your past, and it's time to stop letting it dictate your future. Breaking free from the past starts with understanding that your past doesn't have to be a reflection of who you are now or who you will become. Many of us walk through life carrying the weight of old mistakes, regrets, or even things that were done to us. These past experiences can create emotional scars, limiting beliefs, and fear that stop us from fully embracing the future. But in order to rebuild yourself, you need to let go of the grip that the past has on you. Only then can you truly step into your power and create the life you deserve. Let's first explore why breaking free from the past is so difficult. The past, for better or worse, is familiar. Even if it was painful or filled with hardship, there's a comfort in the familiarity of it. It's what we know, and there's a strange sense of safety in clinging to what we've experienced, even if it's holding us back. We often find ourselves replaying old stories in our minds, telling ourselves that we're defined by what happened to us, that we are limited by past mistakes or failures. But when we hold on to the past, we're essentially trapping ourselves in a version of our life that no longer serves us. At its core, breaking free from the past requires a mindset shift. It requires you to challenge the beliefs you've been carrying about yourself and your circumstances. Many of us have adopted limiting beliefs based on our past experiences. For example, You might have failed at something in the past and now believe that failure is inevitable for you, or you may have been in a toxic relationship. And as a result, you carry the belief that all relationships will eventually hurt you. These beliefs were formed by past events, but they are not the truth of who you are. In order to break free from the past, you must let go of these limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering ones that will serve you on your journey of transformation. The process of letting go of the past begins with forgiveness. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It's not about excusing the behavior of others or letting go of the need for justice. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the emotional weight of past hurts. It's about releasing the grip that anger, resentment, and pain have on your heart. When we hold on to grudges or past traumas, we are essentially allowing them to control our present and our future. We carry the burden of the past with us, often without realizing the impact it has on our daily lives. Forgiveness isn't always easy, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it is essential in breaking free from the past. It's about giving yourself the freedom to move forward without being weighed down by the past. One of the most powerful forms of forgiveness is self-forgiveness. Many of us are harder on ourselves than we are on others. We beat ourselves up over mistakes, failures, and missed opportunities. We allow ourselves to live in a constant state of guilt, regret, and shame. Self-forgiveness means accepting that you are human, that you've made mistakes, and that those mistakes don't define your worth. It means giving yourself permission to move forward and to learn from your past rather than being paralyzed by it. Remember, the past is gone. It can't be changed. But you have the power to change how you respond to it and how you allow it to affect your life moving forward. Another critical aspect of breaking free from the past is letting go of old identities. For many people, their past experiences become part of their identity. You may have labeled yourself as a failure because of past setbacks, or you may have identified yourself as a victim of circumstances because of painful experiences. These identities are often formed through the lens of what happened to you, rather than who you are at your core. Breaking free from the past means releasing these old identities and stepping into a new, more empowering self-concept. It's about letting go of the labels that no longer serve you and choosing a new identity based on who you want to become, not who you've been. As you work to break free from the past, it's essential to recognize that healing is a process. It won't happen all at once, and there will be times when the past feels like it's pulling you back in. But that's okay. Healing takes time, and transformation isn't linear. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when you question your progress. But every step forward is a step in the right direction. It's important to be patient with yourself and trust the process. You are rebuilding your life piece by piece, and that requires time, effort, and consistency. One practical exercise that can help you break free from the past is journaling. Journaling allows you to reflect on your experiences, process your emotions, and release the past onto the page. Start by writing down the stories you've been telling yourself about your past. What beliefs do you hold about yourself because of past experiences? Are these beliefs empowering or limiting? Once you've identified these beliefs, challenge them. Are they true? Are they serving you? Write down new beliefs that are more aligned with who you want to become. Every time you catch yourself falling back into old patterns of thinking, turn to your journal and remind yourself of the new beliefs you are adopting. Another helpful practice is visualization. Visualize yourself free from the past, unburdened by old wounds, regrets, and fears. Imagine yourself living the life you want to live, unencumbered by the emotional baggage of the past. Picture yourself stepping into new opportunities, building new relationships, and living with confidence and self-belief. The more you visualize this new version of yourself, the more you'll begin to align with that vision and take the necessary steps to make it reality. Breaking free from the past is also about creating new memories. Many people stay stuck in the past because they haven't fully embraced the present moment. They're constantly replaying old memories, reliving old stories, and holding on to past emotions. But in order to truly break free, you must create new positive experiences that reinforce your new beliefs and your new identity. This means stepping outside your comfort zone, taking risks, and pursuing new goals. Every new experience you create becomes a step toward releasing the grip of the past and creating a future that is truly your own. In conclusion, breaking free from the past is an essential step in your journey of self-transformation. It requires forgiveness, self-compassion, and a willingness to let go of old identities and limiting beliefs. It's about releasing the emotional baggage that has been holding you back and creating new memories and experiences that align with the person you are becoming. The past may have shaped who you are, but it does not have to define your future. You have the power to break free, to heal, and to step into a new version of yourself. The key is to take that first step, to recognize the past for what it is, to forgive yourself and others, and to move forward with an open heart and a clear vision for your future. The mind is a powerful tool. It influences how we see the world, how we react to situations, and how we behave. Your thoughts have the ability to shape your reality, either empowering you to live a life of purpose and fulfillment, or trapping you in cycles of self-doubt, negativity, and unproductive behavior. If you're going to rebuild yourself, one of the most important steps is to detox your mind. This chapter is about purging the negative thought patterns that have held you back and replacing them with thoughts that empower, uplift, and guide you toward success. The mind is a starting point for all change, and in order to transform your life, you must begin with transforming your thinking. Many of us are unaware of just how much power our thoughts have over our lives. Our beliefs, judgments, and thought patterns form a lens through which we experience the world. The things we tell ourselves on a daily basis, whether consciously or subconsciously, determine our mood, our choices, and our actions. If your mind is constantly filled with negative thoughts, fears, and limiting beliefs, it's difficult to move forward. These thoughts create a self-fulfilling prophecy, where you begin to believe that things will never improve or that you are incapable of change. Detoxing your mind means identifying these toxic thought patterns and replacing them with new, healthier, and more empowering ways of thinking. The first step in detoxing your mind is awareness. In order to change your thought patterns, you must first become aware of them. Most of us are on autopilot when it comes to our thinking. We have a series of habitual thoughts that run in the background of our minds without us even noticing. We may have thoughts like, "I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed," or "I'm not worthy of love." These thoughts may stem from past experiences, past trauma, or societal conditioning, but whatever their source, they are not serving us. In fact, they are keeping us stuck, stagnant, and preventing us from moving forward. The first step is to recognize when these thoughts arise. Start by paying attention to your internal dialogue. Become aware of the thoughts that come up throughout the day, especially when you're facing challenges or trying something new. Do you immediately start thinking about all the reasons why it won't work? Do you second-guess yourself or talk yourself out of taking action? These negative thought patterns are not facts. They are just thoughts. By recognizing them, you create the space to question and change them. Once you start noticing these negative thoughts, you can begin the process of shifting your mindset. The next step in detoxing your mind is to challenge the negative thoughts you've identified. This is where you start to break down the old beliefs and assumptions that have held you back for so long. For example, if you often think, "I'm not good enough," challenge that thought. Ask yourself, what evidence do I have that supports this belief? Have I had successes in the past that prove I am capable? More often than not, you'll find that the negative thought is based on fear or past failures, rather than a true reflection of your abilities. Challenging negative thoughts involves questioning their validity and replacing them with more realistic, empowering thoughts. For example, instead of thinking, "I'll never be successful," try thinking, "I am capable of achieving success if I keep working hard and learning from my mistakes." This simple shift in perspective can make a huge difference in your ability to take action and move forward. By challenging negative thoughts, you train your mind to focus on the possibilities rather than the limitations. Another powerful way to detox your mind is by practicing gratitude. Gratitude is a potent antidote to negativity. When you focus on what's going well in your life, you shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude helps you appreciate the present moment and recognize the positive aspects of your life, even if they are small. The more you practice gratitude, the more you train your brain to look for good in every situation. This can be transformative, especially when you're in the midst of change. Instead of focusing on what's not working, gratitude encourages you to focus on what is. To incorporate gratitude into your daily routine, start by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. These can be big or small, anything from support a friend to a beautiful sunset or a recent personal accomplishment. Over time, this practice will train your brain to focus on the positives, which will, in turn, help to shift your overall mindset. Affirmations are another powerful tool for detoxing your mind. Affirmations are positive statements that you repeat to yourself in order to change your thought patterns. They help rewire your subconscious mind and reinforce positive beliefs. When you tell yourself, "I am worthy of success," or "I have the power to create the life I want," you begin to reprogram your mind to believe these statements as truth. Affirmations are particularly effective when they are aligned with your core values and goals. When you consistently repeat them, your subconscious mind starts to believe them, which lead to positive changes in your behavior and actions. To make affirmations more effective, try using them in the present tense, as if they are already true. For example, instead of saying, "I will be successful," say, "I am successful." The present tense creates a sense of immediacy and certainty, which helps your mind internalize the affirmation. Repeat your affirmations daily, preferably in the morning or before bed, to reinforce positive thinking and set the tone for the day ahead. Another key component of detoxing your mind is letting go of perfectionism. Perfectionism is a trap that many people fall into. It creates an unrealistic standard that is impossible to meet and leads to constant self-criticism. When you try to be perfect, you set yourself up for failure and disappointment. Letting go of perfectionism is about accepting that you are human and that mistakes are a natural part of growth. It's about allowing yourself to be imperfect and still deserving of success, love, and happiness. Instead of striving for perfection, focus on progress. Recognize that every step you take toward your goal is a step in the right direction, even if it's not perfect. Embrace the journey and understand that growth comes from learning and evolving. By letting go of perfectionism, you free yourself from the constant pressure to be flawless, allowing space for creativity, authenticity, and true self-expression. Finally, one of the most important aspects of detoxing your mind is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment. It allows you to observe your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without getting caught up in them. When you practice mindfulness, you become less reactive to negative thoughts and emotions. Instead of allowing your thoughts to dictate your behavior, you gain the ability to choose how you respond. This is especially important when it comes to negative thinking. By practicing mindfulness, you can observe your negative thoughts without allowing them to take over. You can choose to let them go and redirect your focus toward more positive, empowering thoughts. Mindfulness can be practiced in many ways, through meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply paying attention to your surroundings. The more you practice mindfulness, the easier it becomes to manage your thoughts and emotions in a positive way. In conclusion, detoxing your mind is an essential step in your transformation process. It's about identifying and challenging negative thought patterns, replacing them with empowering beliefs, and creating a mental environment that supports your growth. Through practices like gratitude, affirmations, mindfulness, and letting go of perfectionism, you can detox your mind and create a mindset that empowers you to achieve your goals. By changing the way you think, you change the way you live. The mind is a powerful tool. Use it to your advantage and watch your life transform. In this chapter, we will explore the power of letting go. Many people struggle with the idea of letting go, often because they associate it with weakness or fear. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means freeing yourself from the things that are holding you back and preventing you from moving forward. It's about releasing attachments, whether to past events, relationships, mistakes, or the need for control. Letting go is an essential part of personal growth and transformation, and it plays a crucial role in rebuilding yourself. One of the most common challenges people face when trying to transform their lives is the inability to let go of the past. We often carry emotional baggage from previous experiences, whether it's a painful breakup, a past failure, or a traumatic event. These experiences can leave deep emotional scars that prevent us from moving forward. We may even identify with these past experiences, seeing them as a part of who we are. But in order to rebuild yourself, you must release the grip of the past and allow yourself to heal. The process of letting go begins with acknowledging that you are holding on to something. This could be a negative belief, a toxic relationship, an old habit, or even a grudge against someone. The first step is to become aware of what you are holding on to and how it is affecting your life. Are you holding on to feelings of resentment or anger towards someone who hurt you in the past? Are you clinging to the idea that you are defined by past mistakes or failures? Do you find yourself repeating old patterns of behavior that no longer serve you? Identifying these attachments is the first step in the process of letting go. Once you've identified what you're holding on to, it's important to recognize that letting go doesn't mean that you are excusing past behavior or condoning what happened. Letting go is about releasing the emotional charge attached to the past. It's about accepting that the past is gone and it no longer has the power to control your present or your future. When you hold on to negative emotions like anger, guilt, or regret, you are allowing them to take up space in your life and prevent you from experiencing peace and happiness. Letting go is a way of reclaiming your energy and focusing on the present and the future. One of the most powerful ways to let go is through forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about saying that what happened was okay. It's about releasing the emotional hold that the situation has on you. When you forgive someone, you free yourself from the emotional burden that has been weighing you down. This is especially important when it comes to forgiving yourself. Many people struggle to let go of past mistakes because they hold themselves accountable for things that happened long ago. They carry guilt and regret, which prevents them from moving forward. But forgiving yourself is essential to healing and transformation. It means accepting that you made mistakes, just like everyone else, and giving yourself the grace to learn and grow from them. Forgiveness doesn't always come easily, and it often requires time and effort. It's a process, and it may involve revisiting painful memories and emotions. But the more you practice forgiveness, the easier it becomes. Start by acknowledging the pain that someone has caused you or the regret you feel about a past mistake. Allow yourself to feel the emotions associated with it, but don't let them define you. Write a letter to the person or to yourself expressing your feelings and your desire to let go. You don't need to send a letter. It's just a way to release the emotional energy attached to the situation. By doing this, you take back control and free yourself from the weight of the past. Letting go also means releasing the need for control. Many people struggle with the idea of letting go because they fear that they will lose control over their lives. But the truth is, control is an illusion. We cannot control everything, and when we try to do so, we only create more stress and anxiety in our lives. The more we try to control situations, outcomes, and people, the more we hold on to things that are beyond our control. Letting go means accepting that there are things we can't change and trusting that everything will unfold as it's meant to. It's about surrendering the flow of life and having faith that the universe has a plan for us, even if we can't always see it. Letting go of control doesn't mean being passive or indifferent. It means choosing to focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. When you stop trying to control everything, you create space for new opportunities, growth, and freedom. This is a liberating realization. Letting go of control allows you to live with more ease and less resistance, creating room for your transformation to unfold naturally. Another important aspect of letting go is releasing limiting beliefs. These are the beliefs that we hold about ourselves, others, and the world around us that keep us stuck in patterns of fear and self-doubt. These beliefs often stem from past experiences, and they limit our ability to grow. For example, you might believe that you are not worthy of success or that you will always fail at everything you try. These beliefs are not true, but they can have a powerful impact on your actions and decisions if you continue to hold on to them. To let go of limiting beliefs, you first need to identify them. What beliefs do you hold about yourself that are keeping you from moving forward? Do you believe that you are not good enough, that you don't deserve happiness, or that you are incapable of achieving your goals? Once you've identified these beliefs, you can begin to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this belief true? Where did this belief come from? What evidence do I have that contradicts this belief? By questioning these limiting beliefs, you create space for new, empowering beliefs to take their place. One of the most effective ways to let go of limiting beliefs is through affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that you repeat to yourself in order to reprogram your mind. For example, if you have the belief that you are not good enough, you can replace it with the affirmation, I am worthy of success and happiness. By repeating these affirmations regularly, you gradually rewire your subconscious mind, replacing old, limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. Letting go also involves releasing toxic relationships. Sometimes, in order to rebuild yourself, you need to let go of relationships that are no longer healthy or supportive. This can be difficult, especially if you've been in a relationship for a long time. But holding on to relationships that drain your energy, cause you emotional pain, or hold you back from becoming your best self is not helping you grow. Letting go of toxic relationships doesn't mean you have to sever all ties with people you care about. It means setting boundaries, distancing yourself from negativity, and choosing to surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. In conclusion, letting go is an essential part of the process of rebuilding yourself. It's about releasing the past, forgiving yourself and others, letting go of control, and releasing limiting beliefs and toxic relationships. Letting go isn't easy, but it is liberating. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you create space for new opportunities, growth, and transformation. You free yourself from the emotional baggage that has been holding you back and open yourself up to the possibility of a brighter future. Letting go is not about giving up. It's about creating the freedom to move forward and become the best version of yourself. The ability to embrace solitude is often misunderstood in today's fast-paced, constantly connected world. Solitude is not about loneliness or isolation. It's about creating space for yourself to reflect, recharge, and reconnect with your true self. In a world that is constantly demanding our attention, learning to be comfortable in your own company is a transformative experience. Solitude allows you to cultivate a deeper understanding of who you are, what you truly want, and what is most important to you. It's an essential step in the process of rebuilding yourself because it helps you step away from external influences and focus inward. In solitude, you can hear your own thoughts clearly, confront your fears, and tap into a level of creativity and peace that is often drowned out by the noise of everyday life. One of the primary benefits of solitude is that it provides an opportunity for self-reflection. In our busy lives, we rarely take the time to pause and examine our thoughts, feelings, and actions. We often live on autopilot, reacting to situations without taking the time to truly reflect on them. Solitude creates the space necessary for self-examination. It allows you to process your experiences, learn from your mistakes, and understand your desires and goals. When you spend time alone, you're not influenced by the opinions, judgments, or expectations of others. You can explore your true desires and create your own vision for your life without outside interference. Solitude also provides an opportunity for emotional healing. Many of us carry emotional wounds from the past that we have never fully dealt with. These wounds often go unacknowledged and are buried under layers of busyness, distractions, and external responsibilities. When we are alone, we are forced to confront these emotions, whether we are ready to or not. While this may initially feel uncomfortable or painful, it's an essential part of healing. Solitude allows you to process grief, release anger, and come to terms with past trauma. It's in these moments of quiet reflection that you can begin to heal and let go of the emotional baggage that has been holding you back. Being alone also allows you to rediscover your sense of self. In relationships, work, and social settings, it's easy to lose sight of who you are beneath all the external roles and expectations. You may define yourself by your job, your relationships, or your obligations, but when you are alone, you are forced to reckon with who you are without these external markers. Solitude enables you to reconnect with your core values, passions, and strengths. You can ask yourself important questions like, what makes me happy? What do I truly value in life? What is my purpose? These questions may not have clear answers right away, but the process of asking them is crucial for self-discovery. In solitude, you also have the opportunity to focus on your personal growth. When you are constantly surrounded by others, it's easy to become distracted or to prioritize their needs over your own. But when you are alone, you can invest in your own growth without distraction, whether it's reading, meditating, journaling, or working on a personal project. Solitude allows you to focus on your development without external pressure. It's in these moments of quiet that you can hone your skills, pursue your passions, and grow in ways that are uniquely your own. Solitude is also a powerful tool for creativity. Many of the world's greatest thinkers, artists, and innovators have spent long periods of time alone in order to cultivate their creative ideas. When you're constantly surrounded by other people and external noise, it can be difficult to tap into your own creativity. However, In solitude, your mind is free to wander, to explore new ideas, and to think without restriction. Without the pressure of outside expectations, you can experiment and explore new possibilities. Solitude allows you to think deeply, solve problems, and create in ways that may not be possible in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Despite the many benefits of solitude, it can also feel intimidating, especially if you're used to being around others all the time. Many people fear being alone because it brings up feelings of discomfort, insecurity, or fear. However, learning to be comfortable in solitude is an important part of personal growth. It requires overcoming the fear of being with yourself and learning to embrace your own company. It's important to remember that solitude is not about avoiding relationships or disconnecting from the world entirely. It's about creating a healthy balance where you are comfortable spending time alone and using that time for self-reflection and growth. One of the biggest obstacles people face when trying to embrace solitude is the fear of facing their own thoughts. Many of us are afraid to be alone because we fear what might come up when we are forced to sit with our own emotions and thoughts. But it's in solitude that we can confront our fears, insecurities, and limiting beliefs. Being alone allows you to sit with discomfort and work through it rather than distracting yourself or running away from it. Over time, this process of confronting and processing your inner world leads to greater emotional resilience and self-awareness. It also allows you to develop a sense of inner peace and contentment that comes from knowing you are enough just as you are. In addition to emotional healing, solitude also provides an opportunity for spiritual growth. When you are alone, you have the space to connect with your inner self, to meditate, pray, or engage in any practice that aligns with your spiritual beliefs. It's a moment of solitude that you can tap into a higher sense of purpose and feel connected to something greater than yourself. Whether it's through meditation, mindfulness, or simply being in nature, solitude allows you to cultivate a sense of spirituality that is uniquely personal. Being alone also enables you to set boundaries and regain your personal power. In a world that constantly demands your attention, it's easy to lose sight of your own needs and desires. Solitude gives you the opportunity to take a step back and reassess what is truly important to you. It allows you to reclaim your time, energy, and focus, and to decide what you want to prioritize in your life. This is a crucial aspect of rebuilding yourself, as it enables you to live in alignment with your values and desires rather than being swayed by external pressures. Another important benefit of solitude is that it allows you to practice self-compassion. Many people are critical of themselves, constantly judging their thoughts, actions, and appearance. But when you are alone, you have the opportunity to practice kindness toward yourself. Solitude provides a space for you to show yourself the same love and understanding that you might offer to others. It's in these moments of solitude that you can nurture your relationship with yourself, offering support, encouragement, and care. Finally, solitude helps you build resilience and emotional strength. It teaches you how to be comfortable in your own skin, even when things aren't perfect. By spending time alone and learning to navigate your inner world, you build the emotional resources necessary to face life's challenges. You become less dependent on external validation and more self-sufficient in your emotional well-being. In conclusion, embracing solitude is an essential part of rebuilding yourself. It provides a space for self-reflection, emotional healing, creativity, personal growth, and spiritual connection. Solitude allows you to reconnect with your true self, rediscover your passions, and create the life you truly want. While it can be uncomfortable at first, learning to be comfortable in your own company is a powerful and transformative practice. Solitude is not something to fear, but something to embrace. By spending time alone, you can cultivate the inner peace, clarity, and strength necessary for personal transformation and lasting growth. To begin any transformation, it's crucial to redefine your identity. For many of us, our sense of self is built on the experiences, beliefs, and roles that we've taken on throughout our lives. These roles may have been shaped by society, family expectations, or our past experiences, and they can often leave us feeling like we are simply following a script rather than creating our own path. Rebuilding yourself requires not only letting go of the old version of who you were, but also consciously choosing who you want to become. This chapter is about redefining your identity, discovering who you are at your core, and choosing to align your actions, thoughts, and behaviors with that new version of yourself. The first step in defining your new identity is to let go of the labels that have been placed on you by others or even by yourself. For example, you might have been labeled as the shy one, the failure, or the underachiever. These labels are often based on outdated perceptions of who you are, and they can limit your ability to grow. The truth is, you are not defined by any label. Your past does not have to determine your future, and the labels others have given you don't have to hold power over you. Let go of these limiting identities and instead create a new vision of yourself that is aligned with your desires, values, and potential. One way to start redefining your identity is by reflecting on what truly matters to you. What do you value most in life? What are your passions, your strengths, and your goals? These are the building blocks of your new identity. For many of us, we are so caught up in meeting the expectations of others or living according to society's standards that we lose sight of what we truly want. In order to rebuild yourself, you must first take the time to get clear on what matters to you. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? What kind of life do I want to live? These questions help you to reconnect with your authentic self, beyond the roles you've played or the identities you've carried. Another important aspect of redefining your identity is understanding that change is a process. It's not something that happens overnight, and it doesn't require you to completely reinvent yourself all at once. Rebuilding your identity is about incremental shifts, small, consistent changes that add up over time. One of the most powerful ways to begin this process is through intentional action. If you want to become a confident, successful person, for example, you must begin by taking actions that align with this new identity. Start by setting goals that reflect the person you want to be, and then take daily steps toward achieving those goals. These actions send a powerful message to your subconscious mind that you are becoming the person you want to be. The more you act in alignment with your new identity, the more natural it will feel to embody that identity. In addition to taking action, it's important to address the limiting beliefs and negative self-talk that may be standing in your way. These beliefs often come from past experiences or societal conditioning, and they can prevent you from fully stepping into your new identity. For example, if you've always believed that you are not worthy of success or that you will never be good enough, these beliefs will hold you back from pursuing your goals. To rebuild your identity, you must challenge these limiting beliefs. Question their validity. Are they really true? Or are they simply stories you've been telling yourself for years? Replacing these limiting beliefs with empowering ones is an essential part of the process. Affirmations, visualization, and mindfulness practices are powerful tools for reprogramming your subconscious mind and reinforcing your new identity. One of the most important parts of redefining your identity is learning to embrace self-compassion. Often, when we try to change, we can be our own harshest critics. We might beat ourselves up for not being perfect or for not achieving our goals as quickly as we would like. But self-compassion is a vital ingredient in the process of transformation. It's about treating yourself with kindness and understanding, especially when things don't go as planned. Embracing self-compassion means acknowledging that you are human and that change takes time. It's okay to make mistakes along the way, and it's okay to have setbacks. What matters is that you keep moving forward with a mindset of growth and learning. Another key aspect of redefining your identity is surrounding yourself with people who support your growth. Often, the people we spend the most time with have a significant impact on our sense of self. If you're surrounded by negative influences or people who don't believe in your potential, it can be challenging to rebuild your identity. Surround yourself with individuals who uplift you, encourage you, and see the best in you. These people will help you stay focused on your goals and remind you of your strengths when you doubt yourself. Positive relationships are an essential part of rebuilding your identity, as they provide the emotional support and encouragement needed to continue your journey. A powerful way to reinforce your new identity is by celebrating your progress. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of future goals and overlook the progress you've already made. But taking time to acknowledge and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, reinforces the identity you are building. This could be as simple as recognizing a step you've taken toward your goals, or it could involve celebrating a major accomplishment. The more you celebrate your progress, the more you'll feel confident in your ability to continue your transformation. Part of redefining your identity also involves stepping outside of your comfort zone. Many of us stay stuck in familiar routines because they feel safe, even if they are limiting. But growth happens when we challenge ourselves and push beyond what feels comfortable. By stepping outside your comfort zone, you create new opportunities for learning and growth. You may face fears or self-doubt, but each time you push through those feelings, you reinforce your new identity. This can involve taking risks, trying new things, or tackling challenges that once seemed impossible. By doing so, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you previously thought. As you continue to redefine your identity, remember that transformation is an ongoing process. It's not something that happens overnight, and it doesn't end once you've achieved a particular goal. Rebuilding yourself is about continuous growth, learning, and evolution. You will continue to evolve as you learn more about yourself and your true desires. Embrace the journey, and remember that you are constantly shaping your identity through your thoughts, actions, and choices. In conclusion, redefining your identity is a powerful and essential step in the process of rebuilding yourself. It's about letting go of old labels, beliefs, and roles that no longer serve you, and consciously choose and become the person you want to be. This process requires self-reflection, self-compassion, and consistent action. It involves challenging limiting beliefs, surrounding yourself with supportive people, and celebrating your progress along the way. By embracing your new identity, we are going to discuss the importance of developing self-discipline. You create the life you've always dreamed of as key factors, one that is aligned with your true self and your deepest desires. It's one thing to make the decision to change. The journey may not always be to follow through with it, but it will be worth it. Change requires effort, life dedication, and the ability to stay committed even when things get tough. Self-discipline and consistency are the cornerstones of lasting change. Without them, even the most well-intentioned goals and desires can quickly fade away. Developing these qualities is what will keep you moving forward on your journey of rebuilding yourself. Self-discipline is the ability to control your thoughts, actions, and emotions, even in the face of temptation or difficulty. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing long-term rewards over short-term gratification. Self-discipline is not about being perfect or never making mistakes, but about consistently making choices that align with your goals, values, and vision for your life. It is a practice of staying focused on what truly matters, regardless of the distractions or obstacles that may arise. The first step in developing self-discipline is getting clear on your goals. If you don't know where you're headed, it's hard to stay disciplined and consistent. Your goals should be specific, measurable, and aligned with your values. Take some time to reflect on what you want to achieve in your life and break it down into smaller, manageable steps. Having clear goals gives you direction and purpose, and it helps you stay motivated when things get tough. Without a clear sense of purpose, it's easy to lose focus and become distracted by things that are not aligned with your true desires. Once you have clear goals, it's important to create a plan of action. Self-discipline is built on a foundation of intentionality and planning. When you make a plan, you set yourself up for success by knowing exactly what steps you need to take to achieve your goals. A plan also helps you stay accountable to yourself. For example, if your goal is to get fit, you might create a workout schedule, set a nutrition plan, and commit to tracking your progress. Having a plan in place helps you avoid the temptation to skip workouts or make unhealthy choices, because you've already decided ahead of time what your priorities are. Consistency is closely tied to self-discipline. While self-discipline is about making the right choices in the moment, consistency is about maintaining those choices over time. Consistency is what turns actions into habits. When you consistently show up for yourself and your goals, no matter how small the action may seem, you build momentum. This momentum helps you stay on track and creates a snowball effect that leads to significant progress over time. One of the most important aspects of consistency is the willingness to keep going even when things don't go as planned. Many people give up on their goals when they encounter setbacks or challenges. They might skip a workout, eat unhealthy food, or miss a deadline and then feel like they failed. But this is where consistency comes in. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting back on track as soon as you can and not allowing one mistake to derail your progress. When you make consistency a habit, you'll find that setbacks become less discouraging and you'll be more resilient in the face of obstacles. To help you stay consistent, break down your goals into smaller, daily actions. If your goal is to write a book, for example, commit to writing 500 words a day. If you want to build a fitness routine, start by committing to 20-minute workouts every day. When you focus on small daily actions, it becomes easier to stay consistent because the task doesn't feel overwhelming. The key is to keep showing up, no matter how small the effort may seem. Over time, these small actions add up to big results. Another powerful way to build consistency is to track your progress. Keeping track of your progress helps you stay accountable and gives you a visual representation of how far you've come. This could be as simple as writing down your daily actions in a journal or using a habit tracker app. Seeing your progress can be incredibly motivating, and it reminds you that your efforts are paying off. Tracking your progress also helps you identify patterns, such as days when you're more likely to slip up, and gives you the opportunity to adjust your plan accordingly. Accountability is also a key factor in building self-discipline and consistency. When you tell someone about your goals and progress, you are more likely to follow through. This could be a friend, family member, or even a coach or mentor. Having someone to check in with, someone who will encourage and support you, makes it easier to stay disciplined and consistent. They can offer you advice, help you stay on track when you feel discouraged, and celebrate your successes with you. Building self-discipline and consistency also requires a shift in mindset. Many people struggle with these qualities because they have a negative or limiting belief about themselves. They may believe that they aren't disciplined enough or that they'll never be consistent. These beliefs hold them back from taking action and following through with their goals. To build self-discipline, you need to adopt a growth mindset, believing that you are capable of change and growth. When you approach challenges with a positive, can-do attitude, you're more likely to persevere and stay disciplined. One way to cultivate a growth mindset is to embrace the process rather than focusing solely on the end result. Change takes time, and there will be bumps along the way. Rather than expecting immediate results, learn to appreciate the journey. Celebrate your small wins, and understand that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. This shift in focus helps you stay consistent, even when the results don't come as quickly as you might like. Another mindset shift that helps with self-discipline and consistency is learning to embrace discomfort. Building new habits and achieving your goals often involves stepping out of your comfort zone. It's easy to give in to the temptation to avoid discomfort, but growth happens when you push through it. Whether waking up early to exercise, saying no to unhealthy foods, or pushing through a difficult project, embracing discomfort is part of the process. The more you practice leaning into discomfort, the easier it becomes and the more self-disciplined you become. In conclusion, self-discipline and consistency are essential for rebuilding yourself and achieving lasting change. They are not about perfection, but about showing up for yourself, staying focused on your goals, and taking consistent action every day. The key is to break your goals into manageable steps, create a plan, and stay committed, even when it's difficult. By tracking your progress, building accountability, and embracing discomfort, you will develop the habits and mindset needed to stay disciplined and consistent. As you continue to show up for yourself and your goals, you will create the life you desire and rebuild yourself in the process. In this chapter, we are going to explore the importance of setting boundaries and cutting toxic ties. As you rebuild yourself, it's essential to recognize the people, environments, and situations that are no longer conducive to your growth. Sometimes, in order to move forward and create a life that aligns with your new identity, you need to make difficult decisions about who and what to let go of. Setting boundaries is about taking control of your life and protecting your energy, and cutting toxic ties is a crucial part of this process. It's about freeing yourself from relationships or situations that drain you, hold you back, or keep you stuck in patterns that no longer serve your highest good. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect your well-being, and they are essential for maintaining your mental, emotional, and physical health. Without boundaries, it's easy to become overwhelmed by other people's demands, needs, and expectations. You may find yourself saying yes to things you don't want to do, overextending yourself, and neglecting your own needs. Setting boundaries means that you are choosing to protect your time, energy, and emotional space, and prioritizing your own well-being. It's about learning to say no when you need to, without feeling guilty or responsible for other people's feelings. One of the first steps in setting healthy boundaries is recognizing that it's okay to prioritize yourself. For many people, There's a fear that setting boundaries will make them seem selfish or uncaring. However, boundaries are not about being selfish. They are about being self-aware and protecting yourself from burnout, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. If you constantly give to others without taking care of yourself, you will eventually burn out, and you won't be able to show up as the best version of yourself for anyone, including those you care about. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. It allows you to be fully present in your relationships and commitments while maintaining your own well-being. The next step in setting boundaries is to get clear on what your limits are. Boundaries are deeply personal, and they will vary depending on your needs and values. Take some time to reflect on where you feel drained or taken advantage of in your life. Do certain relationships leave you feeling exhausted or disrespected? Are there situations where you feel overwhelmed or pressured to do things you don't want to do? These are signs that you need to set a boundary. It's important to recognize that boundaries aren't just about saying no to others. They're also about saying yes to yourself. Setting boundaries means creating space in your life for what truly matters to you and protecting your energy from things that do not align with your goals and values. Once you've identified your limits, it's time to communicate your boundaries clearly and assertively. This can be difficult, especially if you're used to putting other people's needs before your own or avoiding conflict. However, setting boundaries requires you to be honest and direct about what you need. You don't have to be rude or aggressive, but you do need to be firm in your decision. For example, if a friend repeatedly asks you to do something that you don't want to do, it's important to politely but firmly say no and explain your reasons. You might say, "I appreciate your invitation, but I need to focus on my personal goals right now, so I'm going to have to pass on this." By communicating your boundaries clearly and confidently, you're showing others that you value yourself and your time. In some cases, setting boundaries may involve distancing yourself from toxic people or situations. Toxic relationships are those that drain you emotionally, physically, or mentally. They may involve people who are manipulative, controlling, disrespectful, or dismissive of your needs and feelings. These relationships can be difficult to let go of, especially if you've invested a lot of time and energy into them. However, it's important to recognize that you cannot continue to grow if you are constantly being pulled back into unhealthy dynamics. Cutting toxic ties is a necessary step in rebuilding yourself and creating space for healthier, more supportive relationships. Letting go of toxic relationships can be painful, especially if they have been a part of your life for a long time. However, it's important to remember that you deserve to be in relationships that nurture and support you. You are worthy of love, respect, and kindness, and it's okay to walk away from relationships that do not offer these things. This can apply to romantic relationships, friendships, family dynamics, or even professional relationships. If someone consistently disrespects your boundaries, manipulates you, or causes you emotional harm, it may be time to let them go. Cutting toxic ties does not mean that you have to be confrontational or burn bridges, but it does mean that you need to protect yourself and prioritize your well-being. In addition to cutting toxic ties, it's important to recognize when certain environments are no longer serving you. This might involve reevaluating your job, your social circles, or even the physical spaces you inhabit. Are there places or environments that make you feel small, unappreciated, or unsupported? Are there situations that encourage negative thinking, unhealthy habits, or behaviors that do not align with your values? These environments can keep you stuck in old patterns and prevent you from moving forward. It's important to be honest with yourself about whether your current environment is helping or hindering your growth. If it's not contributing positively to your transformation, it may be time to make changes. Setting boundaries also involves learning how to manage your time effectively. One of the most common ways people overextend themselves is by saying yes to too many things. When you don't have clear boundaries around your time, it's easy to become overwhelmed with commitments and responsibilities. Start by evaluating how you spend your time. Are you saying yes to things out of guilt, obligation, or fear of disappointing others? Are you making time for your own personal growth and self-care? Time is one of the most valuable resources you have, and it's important to protect it by setting clear boundaries around how and when you use it. This might mean saying no to extra work, limiting your social engagements, or carving out time for rest and relaxation. By setting boundaries around your time, you create the space you need to focus on your goals and take care of yourself. Another key aspect of setting boundaries is learning how to manage your emotional energy. People with strong boundaries are able to protect their emotional well-being by not allowing others to drain or overwhelm them. This involves being aware of your emotional needs and knowing when to step back from situations or people that are emotionally taxing. For example, if you find that a particular relationship or situation is constantly leaving you feeling drained or anxious, it's important to recognize that this may be a sign that you need to set a boundary. Protecting your emotional energy means that you are taking responsibility for your well-being and not allowing others to undermine your peace of mind. In conclusion, setting boundaries and cutting toxic ties is a critical part of rebuilding yourself. Boundaries are essential for maintaining your mental, emotional, and physical health. They allow you to protect your time, energy, and well-being while prioritizing your personal growth. Cutting toxic ties helps you create space for healthier, more supportive relationships and environments. By setting boundaries and removing negative influences from your life, you create the foundation for a future that is aligned with your true values and goals. This process may be difficult, but it's necessary for your growth and transformation. Remember that you are worthy of respect, love, and kindness, and setting boundaries is a powerful act of self-care and self-love. In this chapter, we will discuss the importance of building a strong foundation for your transformation by taking care of your mind, body, and spirit. This holistic approach is essential to creating lasting change in your life. When you focus on nurturing each of these aspects of yourself, you set the stage for a balanced, fulfilling life. Building a strong foundation requires consistent effort, self-awareness, and a commitment to making choices that support your well-being. Your mind, body, and spirit are interconnected, and when one is neglected, the others can suffer. By cultivating a strong foundation in all three areas, you create the resilience and inner strength needed to overcome obstacles and move forward on your journey of transformation. The first aspect of building a strong foundation is taking care of your mind. Your mindset is one of the most powerful tools you have in creating the life you want. A healthy mind is essential for personal growth, as it shapes the way you think, feel, and approach challenges. One of the most important things you can do for your mind is to nurture it with positive thoughts and beliefs. Your thoughts have the power to shape your reality, so it's crucial to become aware of any negative patterns of thinking that may be holding you back. This includes limiting beliefs, self-doubt, and negative self-talk. To cultivate a healthy mind, it's essential to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is a practice of being present in the moment and observing your thoughts without judgment. When you practice mindfulness, you create space between your thoughts and your reactions, allowing you to choose how you respond to situations. Mindfulness can be practiced through meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply by paying attention to your surroundings and focusing on your senses. The more you practice mindfulness, the more you'll develop the ability to manage your thoughts and emotions, leading to greater clarity, focus, and mental peace. Another key practice for nurturing your mind is positive self-talk. The way you speak to yourself has a profound impact on your self-esteem and confidence. If you constantly criticize yourself or focus on your flaws, you reinforce negative beliefs about yourself. On the other hand, when you speak to yourself with kindness, compassion, and encouragement, you cultivate a mindset that supports growth and success. Replace self-critical thoughts with affirmations and positive statements that reflect the person you are becoming. For example, instead of thinking, "I'll never be good enough," try saying, "I am capable and I am worthy of success." The second aspect of building a strong foundation is taking care of your body. Your physical health is a crucial component of your overall well-being. When your body is healthy and energized, you are better equipped to handle the challenges of life and pursue your goals with vigor. Taking care of your body doesn't mean striving for perfection. It's about making choices that support your health and vitality. This includes eating nourishing foods, exercising regularly, getting enough sleep, and managing stress effectively. A balanced diet is essential for maintaining good health and energy levels. The food you eat directly affects how you feel, think, and perform. Make an effort to nourish your body with whole foods, including fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Avoid excessive amounts of processed foods, sugar, and caffeine, as these can lead to energy crashes and mood swings. Drinking plenty of water throughout the day is also essential for staying hydrated and supporting optimal physical function. Exercise is another key element of maintaining physical health. Regular physical activity not only improves your fitness and strength, but also boosts your mood and mental clarity. Exercise helps to release endorphins, which are chemicals in the brain that promote feelings of happiness and well-being. It also reduces stress and anxiety, helping you stay calm and focused in the face of challenges. Whether it's going for a walk, practicing yoga, or lifting weights, find an activity that you enjoy and make it a regular part of your routine. Sleep is another vital component of physical well-being. Quality sleep is necessary for your body to repair and rejuvenate. It also plays a critical role in cognitive function, memory, and emotional regulation. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night, and create a sleep routine that supports relaxation and restfulness. This may include winding down before bed with calming activities, such as reading or taking a warm bath, and avoiding stimulants like caffeine or electronics close to bedtime. Managing stress is another important aspect of caring for your body. Chronic stress can have a negative impact on your physical health, leading to conditions such as high blood pressure, digestive issues, and weakened immune function. To manage stress effectively, practice relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or mindfulness. Regular physical activity also helps reduce stress, so make sure to incorporate movement into your daily routine. The third aspect of building a strong foundation is taking care of your spirit. Your spirit is the essence of who you are, and nurturing it is essential for living a life of meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Spiritual health is not necessarily about religion. It's about connecting to something greater than yourself and aligning with your core values. When you nurture your spirit, you cultivate a sense of peace, clarity, and inner strength that helps you navigate the challenges of life with resilience and grace. One of the best ways to nurture your spirit is by engaging in practices that bring you a sense of peace and connection. This might include meditation, prayer, journaling, or spending time in nature. Meditation and prayer allow you to connect with your inner self and with the divine, whatever that means for you. These practices help you cultivate a sense of peace and stillness, allowing you to tap into your inner wisdom and strength. Spending time in nature also has a calming effect on the spirit. Whether it's walking in the park, hiking in the mountains, or simply sitting by the ocean, nature provides a sense of grounding and connection that nourishes the spirit. Another important practice for nurturing your spirit is identifying and living in alignment with your values. Your values are the guiding principles that shape your decisions and actions. When you live in alignment with your values, you experience a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose. Take some time to reflect on what matters most to you. What you stand for? What are your non-negotiables in life? Once you've identified your values, make sure your actions align with them. This will help you live a life that feels authentic and true to who you are. In this chapter, we will discuss the importance of building a strong foundation for your transformation by taking care of your mind, body, and spirit. This holistic approach is essential to creating lasting change in your life. When you focus on nurturing each of these aspects of yourself, you set the stage for a balanced, fulfilling life. Building a strong foundation requires consistent effort, self-awareness, and a commitment to making choices that support your well-being. Your mind, body, and spirit are interconnected, and when one is neglected, the others can suffer. By cultivating a strong foundation in all three areas, you create the resilience and inner strength needed to overcome obstacles and move forward on your journey of transformation. The first aspect of building a strong foundation is taking care of your mind. Your mindset is one of the most powerful tools you have in creating the life you want. A healthy mind is essential for personal growth, as it shapes the way you think, feel, and approach challenges. One of the most important things you can do for your mind is to nurture it with positive thoughts and beliefs. Your thoughts have the power to shape your reality, so it's crucial to become aware of any negative patterns of thinking that may be holding you back. This includes limiting beliefs, self-doubt, and negative self-talk. To cultivate a healthy mind, it's essential to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is a practice of being present in the moment and observing your thoughts without judgment. When you practice mindfulness, you create space between your thoughts and your reactions, allowing you to choose how you respond to situations. Mindfulness can be practiced through meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply by paying attention to your surroundings and focusing on your senses. The more you practice mindfulness, the more you'll develop the ability to manage your thoughts and emotions, leading to greater clarity, focus, and mental peace. Another key practice for nurturing your mind is positive self-talk. The way you speak to yourself has a profound impact on your self-esteem and confidence. If you constantly criticize yourself or focus on your flaws, you reinforce negative beliefs about yourself. On the other hand, when you speak to yourself with kindness, compassion, and encouragement, you cultivate a mindset that supports growth and success. Replace self-critical thoughts with affirmations and positive statements that reflect the person you are becoming. For example, instead of thinking, "I'll never be good enough," try saying, "I am capable and I am worthy of success." The second aspect of building a strong foundation is taking care of your body. Your physical health is a crucial component of your overall well-being. When your body is healthy and energized, you are better equipped to handle the challenges of life and pursue your goals with vigor. Taking care of your body doesn't mean striving for perfection. It's about making choices that support your health and vitality. This includes eating nourishing foods, exercising regularly, getting enough sleep, and managing stress effectively. A balanced diet is essential for maintaining good health and energy levels. The food you eat directly affects how you feel, think, and perform. Make an effort to nourish your body with whole foods, including fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Avoid excessive amounts of processed foods, sugar, and caffeine, as these can lead to energy crashes and mood swings. Drinking plenty of water throughout the day is also essential for staying hydrated and supporting optimal physical function. Exercise is another key element of maintaining physical health. Regular physical activity not only improves your fitness and strength, but also boosts your mood and mental clarity. Exercise helps to release endorphins, which are chemicals in the brain that promote feelings of happiness and well-being. It also reduces stress and anxiety, helping you stay calm and focused in the face of challenges. Whether it's going for a walk, practicing yoga, or lifting weights, find an activity that you enjoy and make it a regular part of your routine. Sleep is another vital component of physical well-being. Quality sleep is necessary for your body to repair and rejuvenate. It also plays a critical role in cognitive function, memory, and emotional regulation. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night, and create a sleep routine that supports relaxation and restfulness. This may include winding down before bed with calming activities, such as reading or taking a warm bath, and avoiding stimulants like caffeine or electronics close to bedtime. Managing stress is another important aspect of caring for your body. Chronic stress can have a negative impact on your physical health, leading to conditions such as high blood pressure, digestive issues, and weakened immune function. To manage stress effectively, practice relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or mindfulness. Regular physical activity also helps reduce stress, so make sure to incorporate movement into your daily routine. The third aspect of building a strong foundation is taking care of your spirit. Your spirit is the essence of who you are, and nurturing it is essential for living a life of meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Spiritual health is not necessarily about religion. It's about connecting to something greater than yourself and aligning with your core values. When you nurture your spirit, you cultivate a sense of peace, clarity, and inner strength that helps you navigate the challenges of life with resilience and grace. One of the best ways to nurture your spirit is by engaging in practices that bring you a sense of peace and connection. This might include meditation, prayer, journaling, or spending time in nature. Meditation and prayer allow you to connect with your inner self and with the divine, whatever that means for you. These practices help you cultivate a sense of peace and stillness, allowing you to tap into your inner wisdom and strength. Spending time in nature also has a calming effect on the spirit. Whether it's walking in the park, hiking in the mountains, or simply sitting by the ocean, nature provides a sense of grounding and connection that nourishes the spirit. Another important practice for nurturing your spirit is identifying and living in alignment with your values. Your values are the guiding principles that shape your decisions and actions. When you live in alignment with your values, you experience a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose. Take some time to reflect on what matters most to you. What do you stand for? What are your non-negotiables in life? Once you've identified your values, make sure your actions align with them. This will help you live a life that feels authentic and true to who you are. In addition to reflecting on your values, make time for activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. This could be pursuing a creative hobby, spending time with loved ones, or giving back to your community. When you engage in activities that align with your passions, you nourish your spirit and create a sense of purpose. Taking time for yourself and doing things that bring you joy is essential for maintaining spiritual well-being. In conclusion, building a strong foundation by taking care of your mind, body, and spirit is essential for your transformation. When you prioritize your mental, physical, and spiritual health, you create the resilience and inner strength needed to overcome obstacles and move forward on your journey of personal growth. Nurturing each aspect of yourself holistically allows you to live a balanced and fulfilling life. By consistently making choices that support your well-being, you lay the groundwork for lasting change and create the foundation for a life that is aligned with your true potential. In this chapter, we will delve into the importance of cultivating self-love and confidence as essential components of your transformation. Rebuilding yourself starts from the inside out, and the foundation for any lasting change begins with learning to love and believe in yourself. Self-love is not just about feeling good about yourself on the surface. It's about deeply accepting who you are, honoring your worth, and treating yourself with the same care and kindness that you extend to others. Confidence, on the other hand, is a belief in your own abilities and the courage to take risks and face challenges. When you cultivate both self-love and confidence, you empower yourself to pursue your goals, overcome obstacles, and create the life you desire. Self-love is a cornerstone of any transformation because it allows you to operate from a place of strength and compassion. It's easy to look at the flaws, mistakes, and shortcomings in your life, but self-love is about accepting yourself completely, without judgment or criticism. It means acknowledging your imperfections while also recognizing your unique qualities, strengths, and potential. When you love yourself, you stop seeking validation from others and start creating your own sense of worth. This internal validation is key to building lasting self-esteem and confidence. The first step in cultivating self-love is to practice self-compassion. We often treat ourselves with more harshness and judgment than we would ever treat another person. When we make mistakes, experience failure, or face challenges, we tend to be our own worst critics. We might say things like, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never succeed." Self-compassion is about recognizing that you are human, and being imperfect is part of the human experience. It's about treating yourself with kindness and understanding when things don't go as planned. Instead of beating yourself up, practice speaking to yourself in the same way you would speak to a loved one who is struggling. Be gentle, supportive, and patient with yourself. This practice helps to foster a deeper sense of self-worth and encourages personal growth. Another important aspect of self-love is setting healthy boundaries. As you continue on your journey of transformation, you will need to protect your energy, time, and well-being. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It means saying no when something doesn't align with your values, needs, or goals. By setting boundaries, you show yourself that you are worthy of respect and that your time and energy are precious. Learning to say no, whether it's to people, commitments, or situations, is a powerful way to cultivate self-love. It allows you to preserve your mental and emotional health, and it creates space for you to focus on what truly matters to you. Another key practice in cultivating self-love is practicing gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool for shifting your mindset and appreciating who you are and what you have. When you regularly practice gratitude, you begin to see the positive aspects of yourself and your life rather than focusing on the negatives. Make it a habit to write down 3 things you're grateful for each day. These can be big or small. Anything from the support of a friend to the fact that you are alive and healthy. Gratitude helps to reinforce the belief that you are enough, just as you are. While self-love is about accepting and caring for yourself, confidence is about believing in your abilities and trusting yourself to take action, even in the face of uncertainty. Confidence is built through action, and the more you take steps toward your goals, the more your confidence will grow. The key to developing confidence is recognizing that it doesn't come from perfection. It comes from believing in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, even when things don't go as planned. One of the most effective ways to build confidence is by setting small, achievable goals. Confidence grows when you experience success, even in small doses. Start by setting goals that are realistic and attainable. These goals can be anything from completing a project at work to making time for self-care each day. When you achieve these goals, you reinforce a belief that you are capable and competent. Over time, these small wins will build your confidence and encourage you to take on bigger challenges. Another way to build confidence is by confronting your fears. Fear often holds us back from taking action and reaching our full potential. We fear failure, rejection, or making mistakes. But confidence is built when you take action despite your fears. The more you face your fears and take risks, the more you prove to yourself that you can handle whatever challenges come your way. It's important to recognize that failure is not a reflection of your worth. It's simply a learning opportunity. Every time you take a risk and put yourself out there, you increase your resilience and confidence. Positive self-talk is another essential practice for building confidence. Your inner dialogue has a profound impact on your self-esteem and belief in your abilities. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough or that you'll never succeed, you reinforce these limiting beliefs. On the other hand, when you practice positive self-talk, you build a mindset that supports confidence and growth. Replace negative thoughts with empowering statements such as, "I am capable of achieving my goals," "I trust myself to make the right decisions," or "I am worthy of success." The more you practice positive self-talk, the more your confidence will grow. Visualization is another powerful tool for building confidence. Visualization is a practice of mentally rehearsing your success before it happens. By vividly imagining yourself achieving your goals, you train your mind to believe that it is possible. Visualization helps you overcome self-doubt and prepares you for success. Whether you're preparing for an important presentation, an interview, or a personal challenge, take some time to visualize yourself succeeding. See yourself handling the situation with confidence and ease. The more you visualize success, the more confident you'll feel in your ability to achieve it. In addition to these practices, it's important to surround yourself with positive, supportive people who believe in your potential. The people you spend time with can have a significant impact on your self-esteem and confidence. Surround yourself with individuals who encourage you, challenge you to grow, and celebrate your successes. Avoid relationships that are toxic, draining, or unsupportive. The right people will lift you up, while the wrong ones will hold you back. Self-love and confidence are not traits that you're either born with or without. They are skills that can be developed and cultivated over time. Just like any other skill, they require practice, patience, and persistence. The more you practice self-love and confidence, the stronger they will become. These qualities are the foundation of your transformation, as they allow you to believe in your potential. Pursue your goals with courage and create the life you desire. In conclusion, cultivating self-love and confidence is essential for your personal transformation. Self-love allows you to accept and care for yourself, while confidence empowers you to take action and trust in your abilities. By practicing self-compassion, setting healthy boundaries, practicing gratitude, setting achievable goals, confronting your fears, and surrounding yourself with supportive people, you can build a strong sense of self-love and confidence. These qualities will serve as a foundation for your growth, helping you overcome obstacles, pursue your dreams, and become the person you were always meant to be. The journey of transformation begins with loving and believing in yourself, and when you do, anything is possible. Change is painful. There's no easy way around it. When you commit to transforming yourself, destroying the old version of you and rebuilding anew, you are going to face discomfort. This discomfort isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something real. Growth requires stepping outside of your comfort zone and letting go of familiar patterns, beliefs, relationships, and habits that have kept you stuck. And that process isn't smooth. It will challenge you mentally, emotionally, even physically. But in that pain is something sacred, evidence that you are evolving. In this chapter, we're going to walk into that discomfort, not avoid it. We're going to talk about what it feels like to go through real change and why learning to sit in that pain is one of the most powerful things you can ever do. When you decide to change, you are essentially choosing to dismantle the identity you've built over years, sometimes decades. That identity may not serve you anymore, but it's familiar, and the brain loves the familiar. Even if your habits are destructive or your thoughts are limiting, your subconscious clings to them because they are predictable. Change threatens that stability. That's why it often feels like everything is falling apart when you start doing the inner work. You're not going crazy. You're undoing. You're pulling weeds that have had time to root themselves deep into the soil of your being. Of course it hurts. Of course it's hard. You're not just changing what you do. You're changing who you are. There's an emotional turbulence that comes with this work. One moment, you might feel hopeful, even euphoric, as you envision your new life. The next, you're anxious, overwhelmed, or riddled with doubt. This emotional swing is normal. It's your nervous system trying to recalibrate as your inner world shifts. You might find yourself grieving, even if you're letting go of toxic patterns. There's a strange sorrow in leaving behind a version of yourself. Even if you didn't like that version got you through tough times. That version may have helped you survive. So it makes sense that part of you resists letting go. Letting go of your past identity isn't just about mindset. It also affects your body. Trauma, stress, and suppressed emotions are stored physically. As you begin to unravel your old self, your body responds. You might feel exhausted. You might cry for no reason. You might feel tension or restlessness. This is your body releasing everything it's held onto for so long. It's detoxing not just emotionally, but energetically. Don't suppress these sensations. Let them move through you. Give yourself the grace to feel, even when it's messy. This isn't weakness. It's healing. The people around you may not understand what you're doing. In fact, they might resist your change. Some may mock it. Some may feel threatened by it. And some might try to pull you back to who you used to be. This is especially true if your transformation disrupts the dynamics they were comfortable with. But remember, this journey is yours. You are not responsible for other people's comfort at the expense of your growth. It's okay if people drift away. It's okay if your relationships change. That's part of the process. Not everyone is meant to go with you to the next version of your life. There's loneliness in this kind of transformation, especially when you're choosing to do it alone. That solitude can feel sharp, like a silence that's too loud. But that quiet is where clarity lives. It's where your true voice gets louder. In the noise of the world, it's easy to lose yourself. In silence, you find who you really are. You learn to trust yourself again. You learn that you are capable of being your own anchor. It's in the solitude that you start rebuilding. Not to impress anyone, not to fit into any mold, but to finally align with your truth. It's important to understand that this pain won't last forever. It ebbs and flows. Some days will feel light and hopeful. Others will feel heavy. The key is to stay with it. Don't abandon yourself when it gets hard. Don't rush to numb it or fix it. Sit in the discomfort. Let it teach you what it's here to show you. Pain is a messenger. It reveals where you're still holding on. It shows you what still needs healing. It pushes you toward the parts of yourself you've avoided. And when you face it instead of run from it, you reclaim your power. This chapter of pain is not the end. It's the breaking open, the cracking of the shell that kept you small. It's not pretty and it's not linear. Sometimes you'll feel like you're making progress, and then a wave will hit and pull you back under. That's okay. You're not failing. You're shedding. You're unlearning. You're rewiring. You're making space for the new. And that takes time. That takes patience. That takes heart. During this time, self-care isn't optional. It's necessary. Not the surface-level kind, but the deep, nourishing kind. Get sleep. Eat real food. Move your body. Breathe deeply. Stay hydrated. Journal your thoughts. Cry when you need to. Rest when your soul feels heavy. Be around nature. Talk to yourself like you would to a child who's learning how to walk. Gently, encouragingly, lovingly. You are learning to walk a new path. You won't always get it right, but you're showing up, and that matters more than perfection ever will. There is power in pain, but only if you allow it to shape you rather than define you. Use it. Let it burn away what no longer belongs. Let it soften the parts of you that have grown hard out of protection. Let it remind you how strong you really are. Because if you can sit in this discomfort and not give up, if you can keep going even when every part of you wants to run, you are building a version of yourself that can weather any storm. Transformation is brutal and beautiful. It's losing and finding, breaking and building. It's standing the fire and realizing that you won't be consumed by it. You'll be forged in it. You'll come out the other side, not as someone new, but as someone real, someone true, someone whole. So when the pain comes, don't run, don't numb, don't turn away. Let it come. Let it break you open. Let it make space. Let it burn. And when it passes, and it will, you'll be left with something rare and unshakable, a self that was chosen, not inherited, a self that rose not by accident, but by intention. That's the gift hidden in the discomfort. That's the beginning of the real you. At some point in your transformation, once you've begun shedding the layers of your old identity, you're going to be faced with a question that echoes louder than most. Why am I here? This isn't about where you're physically or even emotionally. It's about purpose. It's about meaning. It's about waking up with a sense of direction that fuels your actions, that keeps you moving even when things get hard. In this chapter, we're going to focus on finding your purpose and turning that purpose into clear, meaningful goals. This part of the journey shifts the energy from destruction to creation, from tearing down who you were to building something that's worth waking up for. Purpose doesn't always arrive as some lightning bolt of clarity. For most people, it's not a sudden epiphany. It's a quiet realization that unfolds over time, through small experiences, deep reflection, and honest conversations with yourself. It's not always loud, but it's always present. Purpose often lives in the things that make you feel most alive, most useful, most connected. It's what you naturally gravitate toward when no one is watching. What you do because it feels right, not because it earns you approval. And the truth is, most people spend a large portion of their lives running from this question, avoiding it with distractions, numbing it with comfort, or silencing it with logic. But you're not here to avoid anymore. You're here to uncover the truth. To find your purpose, begin by exploring your natural interests and values. What are the things that ignite your passion? What problems in the world draw your attention? What qualities or skills have people always told you you're good at, even if you never saw them as special? Sometimes purpose is rooted in what you love. Other times, it's rooted in what you survived. The things that broke you open may be the very things that guide you to help others. Nothing in your life is wasted. Not the pain, not the failures, not the detours. Everything can serve a purpose. If you let it, purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It doesn't need a big audience or a flashy title. It just needs to feel right to you. Some people find purpose in raising a family, in creating art, in helping others heal, in building something from the ground up, in teaching, or in simply living authentically. There's no right answer. The only requirement is that it resonates, that it lights something up inside of you, that it feels like it matters, not everyone else, but to you. Once you begin to get a sense of your purpose, the next step is translating that purpose into goals. Purpose gives your life direction. Goals give it structure. A goal without purpose can feel empty, and a purpose without goals can feel out of reach. But together, they become your roadmap. Start by writing down your purpose in a sentence or two. Don't worry about making it perfect. Just make it honest. Then ask yourself, if I were truly living out this purpose, what would my life look like? What would you be doing every day? Who would you be helping? What kind of habits would you have? How would you show up differently? Use your answers to create goals that are rooted in this purpose. Make them tangible and specific. Instead of saying, I want to help people, say, I want to become a certified coach within the next year so I can help people navigate their own transformation. Instead of saying, I want to be healthier, say, I'm going to start exercising 3 times a week and prepare my meals at home 5 days a week. Purpose gives your goals weight. It gives them a why. And when you have a strong enough why, the how starts to work itself out. Not every goal needs to be huge. In fact, the smaller, consistent ones are often the most powerful. They build momentum, and they help you prove to yourself that change is possible. When your goals are aligned with your purpose, they become easier to stick to, not because they're less challenging, but because they're deeply meaningful. They're no longer just about achievement. They're about alignment. You're not forcing yourself to act. You're being pulled forward by something bigger. It's also important to make sure your goals reflect who you really are now, not who you were before, and not who others expect you to be. This means you'll need to let go of goals that no longer serve you. Maybe there was a time when your goals were based on status, approval, or survival. But this chapter is about rebuilding from truth. Let your new goals be a reflection of your evolved self. Not a reaction to your past, but a declaration of who you're becoming. There will be moments of doubt along the way. You'll question if your purpose is real, or if your goals are too ambitious. That's normal. Purpose isn't about being certain every second of the day. It's about choosing to believe in something enough to keep going. You don't need to have everything figured out to move forward. You just need to keep showing up for what matters. Progress will come from your willingness to stay connected to your purpose and take action, even when the path isn't clear. Accountability plays a big role here. You can't always rely on motivation. Motivation fades, especially when life gets overwhelming. But when your goals are rooted in purpose and you create systems to stay accountable, you become unstoppable. Write your goals down. Break them into steps. Create a timeline. Track your progress. Celebrate your wins, even the small ones. And if you fall off track, don't give up. Reconnect with your purpose. Remind yourself why you started. Start again as many times as you need to. As you grow, your purpose might evolve. That's okay. Growth reveals new layers. What's important is that you stay honest with yourself. Keep checking in. Keep asking, does it still feel aligned? If it doesn't, adjust. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to pivot. The goal is not to lock yourself into an identity, but to keep unfolding into who you really are. When you stay in alignment, you'll find a sense of peace, even in the struggle, because deep down you'll know you're on the right path. Finding your purpose and creating meaningful goals is not about being perfect or productive all the time. It's about waking up with a reason to show up, a reason to keep moving. A reason to believe that your life matters. Because it does. You matter. And everything you've been through, everything you survived, it brought you here, to this moment, to this chance, to this blank canvas where you get to paint something new. Let your purpose guide you. Let your goals keep you grounded. And let this be the chapter where you stop drifting and start building with intention. Failure has a way of making us forget who we are. It can feel like a full stop, like proof that we were never good enough, never smart enough, never meant for the thing we were chasing. But what if failure isn't the end of the story? What if it's just a plot twist, one that's designed not to break you, but to shape you? In this chapter, we're going to reframe failure. We're going to strip it of its shame and redefine it as a powerful tool in your rebuilding process. Because the truth is, failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. When you're in the middle of failure, it hurts. There's no sugarcoating it. Whether it's a failed relationship, a job you lost, a dream that didn't pan out, or a goal you didn't reach, it can sting in a way that cuts deep. It can make you question everything, your choices, your abilities, your worth. But in that questioning, there's an opening. There's a chance to get honest with yourself, to see what wasn't working, to ask better questions, to grow. Failure forces you to pause. It interrupts the patterns and momentum that may have been leading you somewhere you didn't truly want to go. The problem isn't failure itself. It's how we interpret it. Most people see failure as final, as something to be avoided at all costs. But avoiding failure also means avoiding risk, avoiding growth, and ultimately avoiding life. If you've never failed, it probably means you've never truly pushed yourself. You've never stepped far enough outside your comfort zone to discover what you're really capable of. Failure is a byproduct of trying. And trying, truly trying, is brave. It means you cared enough to go for something. It means you were willing to bet on yourself, even if the outcome didn't land where you hoped. When you rebuild yourself, failure becomes inevitable. You are learning, stretching, becoming someone new. You will try things that don't work. You will make mistakes. You will fall short. But that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're in the arena. And the arena is where transformation happens. You are not meant to get it all right on the first try. You are meant to stumble, to adjust, to fall and get up again. That's how resilience is built. That's how you develop grit. That's how you create a version of yourself that can handle anything. One of the most powerful ways to move through failure is to separate the event from your identity. You are not a failure. You experience a failure. There's a huge difference. The event may have failed. The plan may have fallen apart. The timing may have been wrong. But that doesn't define you. What defines you is how you respond to it. Do you shut down, or do you get curious? Do you give up, or do you reflect and redirect? When you treat failure as feedback, it becomes your teacher. It shows you what needs refining, what you missed, what you could do better next time. Every failure is a piece of data, and if you're paying attention, it can guide you more accurately than success ever could. Let's talk about the fear of failure, because for many people, that fear is more paralyzing than the failure itself. The fear says, what if I try and I'm not good enough? It whispers, what if I embarrass myself? It shouts, what will people think? These fears are rooted in ego and survival. Your brain is wired to avoid pain and rejection, but growth lives on the other side of those things. Fear of failure keeps you stuck in cycles of procrastination, perfectionism, and playing small. But the truth is, the pain of staying the same often becomes greater than the pain of failing. To overcome the fear of failure, you have to shift your focus. Instead of obsessing over what could go wrong, ask yourself what could go right. What if this risk leads to a breakthrough? What if this setback is the exact thing that prepares you for the next level? What if failure is not the end of something, but the beginning of something better? When you frame failure as part of the process, instead of proof that you're not enough, you take its power away. It becomes something you can work with instead of something you run from. Every person you admire has failed, probably many times. Every author has written bad pages. Every entrepreneur has launched something that flopped. Every athlete has lost games. Every human being has had moments of doubt, of breakdown, of defeat. But what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck is the willingness to keep going, to get back up, to not let failure harden their heart or make them afraid, to try again. Failure can make you bitter, or it can make you better. You get to choose. Rebuilding yourself means making peace with failure. It means seeing it as a companion on your journey, not an enemy. It means knowing that sometimes things fall apart, so you can build something stronger, wiser, more aligned. When something doesn't work out, ask yourself, what did I learn? How can I apply that lesson moving forward? What strength did I uncover in the process? How am I different now because of what I've been through? Sometimes failure is a redirection. Sometimes it's a test of how badly you want it. Sometimes it's life asking you to try again, but smarter this time. And sometimes it's just part of the messy, nonlinear journey of being human. You're not here to get everything perfect. You're here to grow. You're here to stretch. You're here to show up again and again, even when it's hard. Let failure humble you, but not shrink you. Let it shape you, but not define you. Let it break you open, but not break you down. Use it, study it, thank it, then get up, brush yourself off, and try again with more insight, more strength, and more fire. Your transformation won't be flawless, but it will be real. It will be earned, and it will be yours. Keep going. When you choose to rebuild yourself, you're stepping into a world that doesn't offer guarantees. Life won't always go according to plan. Things will fall apart, unexpected challenges will arise, and people will disappoint you. The journey will test your patience, your determination, and your emotional endurance. That's why developing emotional resilience and mental toughness is not just helpful, it's necessary. Without these traits, it's easy to fold under pressure, to let fear dictate your actions, and to fall back into old habits when things get hard. But with resilience and mental strength, you become someone who doesn't just survive adversity. You grow from it. You become unshakable, not because life stops being hard, but because you stop being breakable. Emotional resilience is your ability to navigate and recover from emotional pain, stress, and setbacks. It doesn't mean you don't feel things deeply. It means you learn how to feel without falling apart. It means you allow yourself to experience emotions, sadness, anger, fear, doubt, without letting them control your decisions or define your identity. Mental toughness is the mindset that keeps you grounded and focused even when everything around you is falling apart. Together, these two traits form the internal armor that helps you stay aligned with your goals and your purpose no matter what comes your way. The first step in building emotional resilience is learning how to sit with discomfort. Most people run from uncomfortable emotions. They distract themselves with noise, numb themselves with habits, or suppress their feelings until they explode. But avoidance doesn't make pain go away. It just pushes it further down, where it becomes heavier and harder to carry. Resilient people don't run from their feelings. They face them. They sit in the storm and ask, "What is this teaching me?" They give themselves permission to feel without guilt or judgment, and then they move forward with clarity. To develop this kind of resilience, you need emotional awareness. You need to become fluent in your own emotional language. Start by naming what you're feeling instead of just reacting to it. I feel anxious. I feel disappointed. I feel rejected. Naming an emotion gives you power over it. It turns it from a wave that knocks you over into something you can understand and work with. When you understand what you're feeling and why, you create space between the emotion and your reaction. And in that space, you regain your power. Another essential part of emotional resilience is acceptance. Life is unpredictable. Things will happen that are outside of your control. People will misunderstand you. Plans will fall through. You will experience loss. Resilience doesn't mean pretending everything's okay when it's not. It means accepting what is and choosing how to respond. You can't always choose your circumstances, but you can always choose your response. And every time you choose to respond with grace, presence, and intention, you strengthen your emotional foundation. Mental toughness, on the other hand, is about persistence. It's about doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's about pushing through when motivation fades, when doubt creeps in, when the path ahead seems unclear. Mental toughness is showing up again and again, not because it's easy, but because you've made a decision to become someone better. It's a mindset that says, I may not know how, but I'm not quitting. To build mental toughness, you have to practice discipline. Discipline is doing the thing whether you feel like it or not. It's keeping your promises to yourself. It's refusing to let temporary emotions dictate long-term outcomes. And it's not about perfection. It's about consistency. Every time you show up for yourself, every time you follow through, even when it's hard, you build mental muscle. And just like physical muscle, the more you work it, the stronger it gets. One of the most effective ways to strengthen both your emotional resilience and mental toughness is by developing a strong why. When you have a clear reason for your transformation, you're more likely to endure the setbacks and keep pushing forward. Your why is your anchor. It grounds you when everything else feels unstable. When you want to give up, your why reminds you why you started. When fear shows up, your why reminds you what's at stake. Take time to write down your reasons. Make them visible. Revisit them often. Another key to building resilience and toughness is learning to reframe challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as threats, start seeing them as opportunities. Every struggle you face is giving you a chance to develop a skill, strengthen a mindset, or uncover a truth. Pain is often a sign that something needs to be healed or changed. Setbacks reveal what still needs your attention. Failure teaches you where you need to grow. When you reframe your challenges as tools for growth, you stop resisting them, and you start using them. Your environment also plays a huge role in developing inner strength. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to be better, not those who enable your comfort or excuses. Consume content that builds your mindset. Pay attention to what you allow into your mental space. Are you feeding your mind with doubt, negativity, and fear? Or are you feeding it with hope, strategy, and perspective? You can't grow a strong mind in a toxic environment. Protect your peace. Protect your focus. Daily habits are where resilience is built. You don't become tough in one moment of inspiration. You become tough in the mundane moments. The decision to get out of bed when you want to hit snooze. The choice to go to the gym when it's raining. The commitment to journal when your mind feels messy. The habit of checking in with yourself instead of reacting to emotions. These small acts add up. They build trust. They shape identity. They turn into a quiet, steady power that lives within you. Resilience also means being kind to yourself in the process. Toughness isn't about being hard on yourself. It's not about pushing until you break. It's about knowing when to rest, when to pause, when to ask for help. It's about being able to say, I'm struggling, without shame. True strength is soft and grounded. It doesn't need to prove anything. It just is. Give yourself the grace to be human as you grow stronger. You can be tough and tender, brave and vulnerable, resilient and real. In the end, emotional resilience and mental toughness are not just about getting through life. They're about thriving through it. They allow you to stay rooted in who you are, even when everything else is shifting. They help you face discomfort without losing yourself. They help you rebuild not as someone afraid of breaking, but as someone who knows how to rise every single time. This is your edge. This is your armor, not the kind that hides your heart, but the kind that protects it. Wear it with intention, build it with patience, and carry it with the quiet confidence of someone who refuses to give up on themselves, no matter what. Creating lasting change isn't about sudden breakthroughs or massive overnight transformations. It's about what you do consistently, every single day. If you want to rebuild yourself, you must build a new system of habits that support the life you're trying to create. Habits are the building blocks of change. They're the invisible routines and rituals that shape how you think, how you feel, and ultimately who you become. You are what you do repeatedly. Your future isn't determined by your willpower or your intentions alone. It's created by your habits. In this chapter, we're going to focus on creating new habits that serve your growth and help you sustain long-term success. First, you have to understand the nature of habits. Habits form through repetition and reinforcement. The brain creates shortcuts to make life easier and more efficient. Once something becomes a habit, it takes less mental energy to do it. That's good news and bad news. Good if your habits are healthy, destructive if they're not. Many people live on autopilot, running off habits they didn't consciously choose. If you're trying to rebuild yourself, you have to break that cycle. You need to stop living out patterns that were created by your past and start intentionally designing the routines of your future. Start small. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to change their lives is trying to overhaul everything at once. That kind of intensity might give you a burst of motivation, but it usually leads to burnout and disappointment. Instead of trying to fix everything, focus on building one small, sustainable habit at a time. The goal is to make change feel manageable, not overwhelming. If you want to develop a fitness habit, don't aim for a 2-hour workout 6 days a week. Start with 10 minutes a day. If you want to read more, commit to 5 pages. If you want to journal, start with 1 sentence. These micro habits might seem insignificant at first, but they create momentum, and momentum creates change. It's also important to stack your new habits onto existing routines. This technique, known as habit stacking, makes it easier to incorporate change into your daily life. Link a new habit to something you already do regularly. For example, after you brush your teeth, you drink a glass of water. After you make your bed, you write down one intention for the day. By connecting a new habit to an established one, you reduce the friction that often makes change difficult. You're not starting from scratch. You're simply adding a new layer to what's already familiar. Another powerful strategy is to design your environment for success. Your surroundings influence your behavior more than you think. If you want to develop better habits, you have to make the healthy choice the easy choice. Remove temptations and distractions. Put your running shoes by the door. Keep your journal on your nightstand. Place a book next to your remote control. Make your environment reflect your goals. If you want to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with whole foods and remove processed junk. Willpower is useful, but environment is what makes change sustainable. You don't have to be strong all the time. You just need to set yourself up to win. Consistency is everything. A habit becomes part of who you are not when you do it once, but when you do it again and again. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up. That's normal. The key is not perfection, it's persistence. Don't let missing one day become 2. Don't wait to feel motivated. Just do the thing, even if you're tired, even if you're uninspired, even if it's just a small version of what you planned. The act of keeping the promise to yourself is what builds identity. Every time you follow through, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Track your habits. Data creates awareness. When you track your actions, you see where you're consistent, where you're slipping, and where you're making progress. Use a habit tracker, a journal, or an app, whatever works for you. The point isn't to obsess over perfection, but to build accountability. Tracking also makes your progress visible. It reminds you that the small things you're doing are adding up. And when you can see your progress, it fuels your motivation to keep going. Reward yourself. Habits stick when your brain associates them with something positive. That doesn't mean you need to give yourself candy every time you complete a task. It means you should consciously acknowledge your effort and celebrate it. Give yourself credit. Feel the satisfaction of showing up. Let that internal reward reinforce the habit loop. You're not just building discipline. You're building a relationship with yourself where effort is seen, appreciated, and honored. Sometimes you'll need to audit your habits. Not every habit you create will work perfectly the first time. You might realize that a routine isn't effective, that your timing is off, or that your environment needs tweaking. That's okay. Building habits is an evolving process. You're allowed to adjust. The point isn't to be rigid. It's to be intentional. Stay flexible, but stay committed. Keep checking in. Keep refining. Keep asking yourself, does this serve the person I'm becoming? If the answer is yes, keep it. If it's no, replace it. One of the most transformative things you can do is link your habits to your identity. Instead of saying, I'm trying to exercise more, say, I'm someone who moves my body every day. Instead of saying, I want to eat healthier, say, I'm someone who takes care of their body. When you tie your habits to who you believe you are, your actions become part of your self-concept. And when your habits align with your identity, change becomes natural. You're not forcing yourself to be someone you're not. You're simply becoming more of who you already are. You don't need to change everything to change your life. You just need to change a few key things and do them consistently. Your habits are your daily vote for your future. They are your proof that you're not just dreaming, you're doing. You're not just hoping, you're building. One step, one choice, one day at a time. This is how you rebuild. Quietly, patiently, persistently. Not in a rush, not in a frenzy, but with calm, focused intention. Let your habits be the framework of your transformation. Let them carry you on the days when motivation runs out. Let them remind you of what you're capable of. The old you is built by default. The new you is being built by design. Keep going. It's working. Living a life of intention means waking up each day with clarity about who you are, what matters to you, and how you want to show up in the world. It's not about having every detail planned out or being in control of everything. It's about aligning your daily actions with your deepest values. Too often, we live reactively. We move through our days on autopilot, chasing deadlines, pleasing people, following routines we never questioned. We let urgency replace importance. And before we know it, we're living lives that don't feel like they belong to us. But you're rebuilding yourself now. And part of that rebuild requires you to live deliberately, to choose your steps with purpose, to stop living by default and start living by design. When you live with intention, every decision becomes an opportunity to honor your values. Values are not just abstract words or ideals. They are your personal compass. They tell you what feels right, what aligns with your spirit, what brings you peace. If you don't know your values, it's easy to get swept up in other people's expectations, in trends, in fear. You begin making choices that look good from the outside, but leave you feeling disconnected on the inside. To live with intention, you need to get clear on what really matters to you. Not what you were told should matter, not what society pushes on you, but what genuinely resonates in your gut. Start by identifying your core values. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to stand for? Is it honesty, growth, freedom, love, integrity, creativity, service, peace? Pick a few that feel most true to you. Then take a hard look at your life. Are you living in alignment with those values? Or are there places where you've compromised? This is not about judging yourself. It's about becoming conscious. Awareness is the first step to realignment. Once you know your values, you begin filtering your decisions through them. Every choice becomes a check-in. Does this align with who I say I want to be? That doesn't mean every decision will be easy or every path will be clear, but it does mean you'll move forward with fewer regrets. You won't always choose the most comfortable option, but you'll choose the one that feels right. That's what it means to live with intention. It's not about ease. It's about truth. Intentional living also means slowing down. When you're constantly rushing, it's nearly impossible to be present, to reflect, or to make conscious choices. Busyness can feel like progress, but it's often just distraction in disguise. Intentionality asks you to pause, to ask why before you say yes, to create space before reacting. That space is where clarity lives. And when you give yourself that space, you begin to see what's really driving your decisions. Fear, obligation, habit, or genuine desire. One of the most powerful tools for cultivating intention is reflection. At the start of each day, ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? What do I want to prioritize? What do I want to feel proud of by the time the day ends? At the end of the day, reflect again. Did I act in alignment with my values? What did I learn? What would I do differently tomorrow? These small moments of reflection help you course correct and stay connected to your path. They pull you out of autopilot and into purpose. Another aspect of intentional living is energy management. Time management gets a lot of focus, but your energy is even more important. You can't live with purpose if you're constantly depleted. Pay attention to what drains you and what nourishes you. Are your habits, your relationships, your work aligned with your energy needs? Living intentionally means protecting your energy like it matters, because it does. It means saying no to things that pull you away from your values, even when it's uncomfortable. It means setting boundaries without guilt. It means creating a life where your energy is spent on things that move you forward, not things that hold you back. Living with intention also requires letting go of perfection. You're not going to make the right decision every time. You're not going to always know what the most aligned choice is. And that's okay. Intentionality is not about being flawless. It's about being awake. It's about noticing when you veer off course and choosing to return. Every moment is a chance to realign. Every breath is a chance to begin again. Living intentionally is not a rigid system. It's a living practice. It's also about courage. It takes guts to live in alignment with your truth, especially in a world that's constantly trying to distract and define you. It's easy to go with the flow, to blend in, to do what's expected. But intention asks you to be different, to be mindful in a world that moves fast, to be values-driven in a world that prizes image, to be present when everyone else is performing. But the rewards are deep, because when you live with intention, you feel grounded, you feel connected. You stop chasing things that don't matter and start creating a life that feels meaningful, even in the quiet, ordinary moments. It also changes how you set goals. Instead of setting goals based on what others are doing or what you think you should want, you start setting goals that reflect your personal truth, goals that make sense in the context of your values, goals that bring you alive, not just forward. You stop living a life of achievement and start living a life of alignment. And strangely, the more aligned you become, the more the achievements follow. Not because you were chasing them, but because you were living from your center. Intentionality isn't about being serious or overly structured. It's about choosing your life instead of drifting through it. It's about waking up and asking, what kind of life am I building today? And then taking small, deliberate steps toward that answer. It's about being deeply honest with yourself about what's working and what's not, and then having the courage to adjust. It's about living in a way that at the end of the day, you can say, that felt true to me. You're not here to live a life that looks good. You're here to live a life that feels right. You're not rebuilding yourself to impress anyone. You're rebuilding to come home to yourself. And intention is how you get there. Quiet, steady, conscious choices. Over and over again. One breath at a time. One step at a time. One moment of alignment after another. That's how you create a life that's not just full, but real. That's how you build something that lasts. Rebuilding yourself takes time. Real transformation isn't about rushing to the finish line. It's about learning to stay with the process, even when it feels slow, even when you can't see the results right away. That's where patience comes in. In a world obsessed with instant gratification and quick fixes, patience might feel like weakness, but it's not. Patience is strength. It's the quiet, steady power that keeps you grounded when everything inside you wants to give up. Trusting the process means learning to believe in your path, even when it's not moving as fast as you'd like. It means staying with the work, even when the results haven't shown up yet. It means having faith that the effort you're putting in today is shaping the person you'll become tomorrow. There will be times in your journey when everything feels stuck, when the momentum you had in the beginning starts to fade, when your excitement turns into doubt, when the internal work feels invisible and the external world doesn't seem to reflect any progress. These moments are some of the hardest, not because anything is going wrong, but because your mind wants proof. Your mind wants to know that the sacrifice is worth it, that the discomfort will pay off, that the healing is working. But transformation doesn't always happen in ways you can see. Often, it happens beneath the surface, quietly, invisibly, like roots growing before a tree breaks the soil. You must learn to stay with the quiet work, the unseen effort, the internal shifts that no one claps for, the days where the biggest win is simply not giving up. Trusting the process means understanding that progress isn't always linear. Some days you'll take huge strides forward. Other days, you'll feel like you've gone backwards. But you haven't. You're learning. You're refining. You're becoming. Sometimes what feels like a setback is actually a setup, a redirection towards something more aligned, more true. Patience asks you to let go of your timeline, to release the need to have everything figured out right now, to stop comparing your path to someone else's. Their pace is not your pace. Their lessons are not your lessons. Their journey is not yours. You are exactly where you're meant to be, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if it's messy or uncertain or slow. The process is working. You are unfolding. You are learning how to be with yourself, how to stay through discomfort, how to hold your vision even when the world hasn't caught up to it yet. This chapter is about learning to breathe through the waiting, to trust that the small steps matter, that the habits you're building, the choices you're making, the inner work you're doing, it's all adding up. Just because the results aren't immediate doesn't mean they aren't coming. You're not starting over every time you fall down. You're starting from a new level of understanding. Every time you choose to get back up, you're reinforcing the new version of yourself. Every time you keep going when it would be easier to quit, you're telling your future self, I'm coming for you. I believe in you. I'm not stopping. One way to deepen your trust in the process is to zoom out. Look at the bigger picture. Ask yourself, where was I 6 months ago? A year ago? 2 years ago? What have I survived? What have I learned? What have I let go of? You'll start to see that you've already changed more than you realized. That growth has been happening. Even on the days that felt wasted, you'll remember that nothing has been for nothing. Every mistake taught you something. Every breakdown brought you to a breakthrough. Every pause gave you time to reflect. Everything counted. Another way to stay patient is to focus on what's within your control. You can't control the timing of everything, but you can control how you show up. You can control your attitude, your effort, your habits. You can decide to move with integrity, to keep choosing growth, to stay aligned with your values. You don't need the future to arrive on your schedule, to feel proud of the present. Progress isn't just about what you accomplish. It's about who you're becoming, and becoming takes time. Trusting the process also means learning how to rest. Rest is not quitting. Rest is not weakness. Rest is part of rebuilding. You're not a machine. You're a human being in the middle of deep change. Give yourself permission to pause when you need to take breaks without guilt, to slow down without shame. Growth that's forced is never sustainable. But growth that's nurtured, with care, with patience, with grace, lasts. It's easy to want to skip ahead to the part where everything makes sense, to the version of you that feels whole, confident, unshakable. But that version of you is being shaped right here, in the waiting, in the showing up, in the choosing to believe even when it's hard. That version of you is being built brick by brick. Every time you say no to what no longer serves you, every time you say yes to something better, every time you choose courage over comfort, So when it feels like nothing is happening, remind yourself, the most important things take time. Healing takes time. Rewiring your mind takes time. Building new habits takes time. Learning how to love and trust yourself again takes time. You are not late. You are not broken. You are in the middle of becoming. Hold the vision. Stay with the work. Keep showing up one step at a time, one breath at a time. You don't need to rush. You just need to stay. Patience is not passivity. It's power. Quiet, grounded, unwavering power. And the longer you stay with the process, the stronger you become. Keep watering your roots. The bloom is coming. Your environment is not just the space around you. It's everything that surrounds and influences you, from the people you engage with, to the media you consume, to the habits you unconsciously repeat based on what's around you. If you're serious about rebuilding yourself, you need to be just as serious about building an environment that supports the person you are becoming. You can't grow into your best self while staying planted in toxic soil. The surroundings that shape the old you won't support the new you. So in this chapter, it's time to get intentional about what you let into your world. Most people underestimate how much their environment shapes their mindset, their energy, and their behavior. You may think your choices are entirely your own, but your environment often nudges you toward them. If your home is cluttered and chaotic, your mind will mirror that. If your workplace is draining, it'll be harder to stay motivated. If your social circle is negative or stagnant, it becomes much harder to stay optimistic and driven. The truth is, we tend to adapt to the energy we're surrounded by that can either elevate us or slowly erode the progress we're trying to make. Start with your physical environment. Look around the spaces you spend the most time in, your home, your room, your workspace. Are they reflections of who you want to be? Or are they reminders of who you used to be? You don't need to spend money or make everything look perfect. You just need to be intentional. Clear out the things that drain you or serve no purpose. Create space for peace, for clarity, for growth. Maybe that means creating a corner just for reading, journaling, or meditating. Maybe it means decluttering your desk so you feel mentally lighter every time you sit down. Your space should feel like a sanctuary, not a battlefield. Next, examine your digital environment. We spend so much of our lives online now that our digital world becomes an extension of our mental space. Who are you following on social media? What kind of content fills your feed? Are you consuming inspiration and education, or gossip, outrage, and distraction? Start curating your online presence the same way you would curate your home. Unfollow accounts that make you feel small, anxious, or not enough. Follow people who challenge you to grow, who offer value, who remind you of your worth and potential. Set digital boundaries if you need to. Log off, unplug, make room for silence and reflection instead of constant input. Then, take a hard look at your habits. Your routines are also part of your environment. What are you doing on autopilot? What habits are stealing your time, energy, or attention? You might think something is just a little habit, but little habits done consistently shape your identity. If you check your phone the second you wake up, eat out of stress, or always say yes when you mean no, those patterns are creating results, whether you like them or not. Rebuilding your environment means rebuilding your habits, one small change at a time. Swap mindless scrolling for a morning walk. Replace background noise with a podcast or silence. Set systems that support the life you're building, not the one you're trying to leave behind. Now we go deeper. Your energetic environment. This is the vibe, the emotional tone, the unspoken energy of the places and people you interact with. Do you feel safe, seen, inspired, or do you feel drained, judged, or disconnected? Energy doesn't lie. You can feel when something is off, even if you can't explain why. Trust that. Your intuition is one of your most powerful tools, especially in environments that don't support your growth. If you're constantly shrinking yourself to make others comfortable, if you're walking on eggshells, or if you feel like you can never fully relax, it's time to evaluate whether that space is meant for you anymore. This might mean making hard decisions. You might need to distance yourself from places or people that are tied to the old you. That doesn't mean you're better than anyone. It means you're choosing something different. It means you're protecting your peace. And yes, It might be uncomfortable. But transformation is uncomfortable by nature. You can't grow and stay in the same environment that kept you small. You have to be willing to let go of comfort to make room for alignment. You also have the power to create environments, not just react to them. You can bring intention into any space. Light a candle before you write. Open the windows when you're feeling stuck. Play music that lifts your energy. Speak words that shift the atmosphere. Your presence changes things. Your energy is a contribution. Stop waiting for the right environment to show up and start becoming the kind of person who creates it. Be the calm in the chaos. Be the clarity in the confusion. Be the shift. Your environment should reflect your evolution. It should serve your peace, not disturb it. It should challenge you in healthy ways, not keep you in cycles of survival. You don't have to wait until everything's perfect to start. Start with what you can control. One drawer, one decision, one boundary. One day, it adds up. Every change you make to your environment is a way of telling yourself, I matter, my growth matters, my peace matters. This chapter is about setting the stage for your next level. It's about clearing space, both physically and energetically, so you can move forward without being dragged by the weight of the past. It's about remembering that where you spend your time and what surrounds you will either support your transformation or sabotage it. So choose wisely. Design your life like it matters, because it does. Everything in your environment is either helping you heal or keeping you stuck. Let it be a reflection of the person you're becoming, not the person you've outgrown. Let it be your foundation. Let it be your fuel. Let it be proof that this time, you're not just dreaming about change, you're living in it. And you can only go so far on your own if you're constantly surrounded by the wrong people. Rebuilding yourself is not just an internal process. It's also deeply influenced by the relationships you allow into your life. The truth is, your circle either helps you rise or slowly pulls you back down. It's not just about having people around. It's about having the right people around. People who see you, who respect your boundaries, who inspire you, who want to see you win, even if your wins have nothing to do with theirs. In this chapter, you're going to take a deeper look at who's in your corner, and you'll learn how to consciously create a circle that matches the version of you that you're becoming. Most people carry relationships that are tied to old versions of themselves. Maybe they've known someone for years, so they feel obligated to keep them around. Maybe they've outgrown a friendship, but fear the guilt or awkwardness of walking away. Or maybe they're surrounded by people who love them, but love them conditionally, only when they fit into a certain box or act a certain way, or stay small enough not to make others uncomfortable. If you want to transform, you can't afford to keep relationships that are only rooted in history. You need relationships that are rooted in alignment. Start with honesty. Look at your current circle and ask yourself some real questions. Who supports you when no one else is watching? Who celebrates your growth without subtle envy or backhanded compliments? Who makes you feel safe, seen, and inspired? And on the other side, who drains you? Who constantly takes without giving? Who belittles your dreams, dismisses your feelings, or keeps you stuck in old patterns? You don't have to make any sudden moves, but you do have to tell yourself the truth, because the people you keep close will influence how far you can go. Creating your circle is not about finding perfect people. It's about finding real ones, people who can hold space for your growth and hold you accountable with love, people who challenge your blind spots without trying to control you, people who pour into you, not because they expect anything in return, but because they believe in your potential. These people might not be easy to find, especially if you've never seen relationships modeled this way before, but they exist. And more importantly, they're drawn to who you're becoming, not who you were. Sometimes the first step in creating your circle is clearing space. That means releasing connections that no longer serve you. That doesn't always mean a dramatic falling out or cutting someone off cold. Sometimes it's just distance, less access, less energy given, less emotional investment. You don't owe anyone a seat at your table just because they've always had one. Some people were only meant to walk with you for a chapter, not the whole story. Let them go with love, but let them go. And as you start to distance yourself from what's not aligned, you'll notice something else: loneliness. It's a natural part of this process. When you leave behind a circle that no longer fits, there's often a quiet space before the new one arrives. Don't rush to fill that space. Don't settle for proximity over purpose. Use that time to get even more aligned with yourself, to become the kind of friend, partner, or support system you're looking for. What you embody, you attract. You don't have to chase people. You just have to become magnetic to the ones who are meant to find you. Look for connection, not convenience. Sometimes your real circle won't be the loudest people around you. They might not be the ones you've known the longest, but they're the ones who are present, who show up when it matters, who don't disappear when things get real. They ask how you're doing and actually listen. They give without keeping score. They challenge you, but always from a place of care. That kind of connection is rare, and it's worth waiting for, worth creating space for, worth protecting. You also have to be willing to be that person. Your circle reflects what you bring into it. Are you honest? Are you supportive without competition? Do you listen without needing to fix? Do you hold space without judgment? Creating your circle isn't just about finding the right people. It's about becoming one of them. Relationships are mirrors. If you want realness, bring realness. If you want loyalty, offer it. If you want to be surrounded by grounded, empowered people, do your part to create that energy too. Sometimes, especially during rebuilding, your strongest circle might be small. That's okay. Quality always wins over quantity. It's better to have 2 people who get you than 20 who don't. It's better to be alone than constantly having to explain or defend yourself. The goal isn't to have a crowd. It's to have a connection. And that connection starts with you. Because when you're aligned with your own truth, you attract people who are aligned with it too. And don't forget, you can outgrow people and still love them. You can appreciate what someone meant to you and still realize they can't go with you to the next version of your life. Growth doesn't always mean conflict. It just means change. The people who are truly for you will evolve with you. The ones who aren't will fall away. Let that happen. Let what's meant to stay, stay. Let what's meant to go, go. And trust that what's meant for you will always find its way into your life, especially when you're living in alignment with your truth. The people you keep around you will either build your energy or drain it. They'll either reinforce your old identity or support the new one you're creating. They'll either make you question your worth or help you remember it. Choose wisely. Be intentional. Build your circle like your future depends on it, because in many ways it does. At some point in this journey, you'll realize the most important source of love, validation, motivation, and peace isn't someone else. It's you. The version of you that you're becoming doesn't wait for permission, doesn't chase approval, doesn't beg to be chosen. They've learned to become their own source. And that changes everything. Because once you stop outsourcing your worth, your confidence, your happiness, you become untouchable. Not in a cold, disconnected way, but in a grounded, unshakable way. You're no longer living in reaction to the world. You're creating from within. Becoming your own source starts with self-connection. You have to actually spend time with yourself, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Most people never really get to know who they are underneath the noise. They stay busy, distracted, constantly looking outward for answers. But the real answers are inside you. They always have been. The more time you spend listening to yourself, the more you realize how much wisdom you already carry. Your intuition isn't broken. It's just buried. Your voice isn't weak. It's just been drowned out. Quiet the noise, and you'll hear it again. This kind of self-connection requires honesty. Brutal, loving honesty. You have to be willing to admit when you've been hiding, performing, or compromising. You have to stop pretending to be who you think others want you to be. You have to stop shrinking your truth to make someone else comfortable. The moment you stop abandoning yourself to be accepted is the moment you begin to rebuild from truth. And from that place, you learn how to be your own source, not because you don't need others, but because you stop needing them to complete you. You don't need someone else to tell you you're worthy to believe it. You don't need someone else to love you to feel love. You don't need to be constantly seen to be valuable. When you become your own source, you learn how to affirm yourself. You learn how to validate your emotions, how to regulate your energy, how to come back to yourself no matter how chaotic life gets. You start asking yourself first, what do I need right now? And then you give it to yourself without waiting for someone else to do it for you. This doesn't mean you isolate. It doesn't mean you reject support or close yourself off. It means you stop needing support to be okay. It means you allow relationships to be additions, not foundations. When love comes into your life, it's a gift, not a lifeline. When someone understands you, it's beautiful, but not a requirement for you to understand yourself. That's the shift. That's what being your own source looks like. One of the most powerful practices to step into this is reparenting yourself. That means giving yourself what you may have needed growing up but never received. Maybe it was safety. Maybe it was unconditional love. Maybe it was encouragement, patience, or understanding. You have the power to give yourself those things now. You don't have to wait. Speak to yourself like you would to a child learning how to walk. Gently, patiently, supportively. When you fall down, don't punish yourself. Pick yourself back up. That's love. That's how you create inner security. Being your own source also means taking responsibility for your healing. No one is coming to fix you. No one is coming to rescue you. That's not a reason to feel hopeless. It's a reason to feel empowered, because it means your healing is in your hands. You get to decide how you show up for yourself. You get to choose how you move forward. Healing isn't something someone gives you. It's something you choose over and over again. Some days that choice is loud. Other days it's quiet. But every time you choose yourself, you shift something. You also become your own source by creating your own joy. Waiting for perfect circumstances to be happy is a trap. Joy can exist even in the middle of rebuilding, even in the quiet, messy chapters. You just have to be open to it. Find it in the small things. A walk, a song, the way the light hits your skin, the way your breath feels in your chest. Let joy be simple. Let it come from within. That way, no one can take it from you. Not rejection, not loss, not disappointment. Your joy is yours. To be your own source is to create your own peace. The kind of peace that isn't shaken by external noise. That doesn't crumble when someone disapproves of you. That stays steady because it's rooted in truth. Peace comes when you stop betraying yourself. When you stop trying to control what you can't. When you stop performing and start being. It's not about having no chaos around you. It's about having calm within you. And yes, it takes time. You don't wake up one day with complete self-trust, complete self-worth, unshakable peace. But you build it every time you choose yourself, every time you honor your boundaries, every time you listen to your body, every time you say, I trust me. Brick by brick, moment by moment, you become your own home. This is the real power of rebuilding yourself. It's not just about looking stronger or sounding wiser. It's about knowing that at your core, you have everything you need. Not because you have all the answers, but because you stopped looking outside yourself for proof that you belong, that you're enough, that you're worthy. You've started remembering who you are. You've started becoming your own source. And from that place, everything changes. Solitude isn't just silence. It's presence. It's meeting yourself in the rawest way, with nothing to distract, nothing to prove, and no one to perform for. It's one of the most uncomfortable, misunderstood, and powerful parts of the rebuilding process. Because in solitude, everything you've been avoiding finally has space to rise. The voices in your head get louder. The questions get deeper. The emotions surface. And that's exactly why solitude matters. This chapter is about choosing solitude, not as escape, but as sacred space, as the ground where your real self can finally breathe. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Loneliness is a craving for connection. Solitude is a reconnection with yourself. Most people fear being alone because they've never learned how to be with themselves. They fill every quiet moment with noise, phones, social media, conversations, obligations, anything to avoid the weight of being still. But if you can't sit with yourself in silence, it's nearly impossible to know who you are beneath the noise. And if you don't know who you are, you'll keep searching for identity in all the wrong places. Solitude is where clarity lives. It's where you begin to hear the subtle truths that get drowned out in chaos. In the stillness, your inner voice has room to speak. Your intuition can finally be heard. You start to realize what feels right, what feels off, what you've been tolerating, what you've been missing. Solitude isn't a punishment. It's a mirror. It reflects what's real, what's unresolved, what's ready to be released. When you're in the process of rebuilding, solitude becomes a sanctuary. It's where you can reset, where you can grieve, where you can dream without interference. It's where you shed the pressure to explain yourself, to be understood, to meet anyone's expectations but your own. You're not trying to be anyone in solitude. You just are. And that raw presence, that realness, is what makes it powerful. Solitude teaches you to self-source. When there's no one to validate you, you learn how to validate yourself. When there's no one to comfort you, you learn how to soothe your own heart. When there's no applause, you learn how to celebrate your own growth. And that kind of self-relationship, it becomes a foundation for everything else. You no longer enter relationships or spaces from a place of lack or desperation. You don't need to be completed. You already are. You're just sharing your fullness now, not searching for it. But solitude isn't always peaceful at first. It can be messy. It can bring up old wounds, buried fears, unprocessed emotions. That's part of the process. Sitting with what's uncomfortable is how you move through it. You don't have to fix everything that rises in solitude. Just be with it. Breathe through it. Observe it. Let it speak. Let it soften. Let it pass. You're not broken because you feel things deeply. You're healing. You're clearing space. And in that clearing, something else happens. You reconnect with your creativity, with your ideas, your inspiration, your fire. When you remove the world's noise, you make room for your own. And suddenly, visions start to form. You begin to remember the dreams you buried, the stories you were afraid to tell, the possibilities that used to excite you before life got loud. Solitude is where your imagination reawakens. It's where your energy realigns. It's where you start creating from truth, not pressure. To embrace solitude, start small. You don't need to disappear into the woods or sit in silence for hours. Just give yourself a few moments each day to be with you. No distractions, no noise, just breath and presence. Go for a walk without your phone. Sit with your journal. Stare out a window. Let yourself feel what you feel. Let yourself hear what you hear. Make solitude a ritual, not a reaction. Let it be a place you return to. Not because you're running from the world, but because you've remembered your center. Because you've learned that your peace doesn't depend on anyone else. Because you've found value in your own company. The more you embrace solitude, the less approval you need, the less validation you chase, the more aligned you become. And from that alignment, your external world starts to shift too. People will notice. Your presence will change. You'll be less reactive, more grounded. Less dependent, more discerning. You'll speak less, but what you say will carry more weight. You won't just take up space, you'll own it. Because solitude taught you how to stand in your own energy without needing to explain it. In a world that constantly pulls your attention outward, choosing solitude is a radical act. It's an act of trust, of respect, of love, for yourself, for your journey, for your becoming. It's not isolation. It's integration. It's how you gather the scattered parts of yourself and come home. So don't fear the quiet. Don't rush to fill it. Step into it. Let it hold you. Let it show you what's been waiting to rise. And when you return from that space, you won't just be more clear. You'll be more you. Unapologetically. Unshakably. Whole. You've made it this far, not by accident, not by luck, not because someone else saved you, but because something inside you decided not to stay where you were. Something deeper than fear, louder than doubt, stronger than pain chose to keep going. This final chapter isn't about reaching an end. It's not about perfection or completion. It's about acknowledgement. It's about recognizing everything you've walked through, torn down, faced, felt, rebuilt, and become. This is your moment to breathe, to look around, to feel the shift. Because whether you see it yet or not, you're not the same person who began this journey. You destroyed the old version of you, not because they were worthless but because they had taken you as far as they could. They served their purpose. They survived when they needed to. They carried weight they didn't know how to put down. They played small when they didn't know they were allowed to be big. That version of you isn't something to resent. There's someone to thank. You let them go so you could become who you were always meant to be. And look at who you are now. Maybe you're still in the process. Maybe there's still more to shed, more to build, more to understand. But the difference now is you trust yourself. You've proven to yourself that you can sit with pain, face fear, and still move. You've shown yourself that solitude won't break you, that failure won't define you, that discomfort is a doorway. You build a mindset that doesn't fall apart every time life shakes. You've created habits that reinforce your growth. You've learned to become your own source of love, strength, and direction. That is power. That is transformation. You don't need anyone to tell you you've changed. You'll feel it in how you speak to yourself now, in the boundaries you keep, in the way you say no without guilt and yes without fear. You'll feel it in the quiet moments, when your old reactions don't show up, when your old patterns don't take over, when you choose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, growth over comfort. That's how transformation reveals itself, not in the big moments, but in the subtle shifts. This is your life now. One you're building from intention, not reaction. From alignment, not pressure. From truth, not trauma. And it will keep evolving. There's no finish line to becoming. There's no final version. But you're no longer afraid of the process. You're no longer rushing through it or resisting it. You're here for it, awake in it, grateful for it. Even when it's hard, let this chapter be a reminder that you are your own proof, that everything you need is already within you, that the journey doesn't make you worthy. You were worthy before the first step, but the journey reveals it. It strips away the noise, the lies, the layers that kept you from seeing it. You didn't become someone new. You became someone true. So now what? You live. You move forward. You keep choosing yourself in the small ways and the big ways. You keep showing up not for perfection, but for presence. You keep evolving without explanation, healing without permission, loving yourself without condition. You keep rebuilding, not because you're broken, but because you finally know you deserve a life that reflects your soul, not your wounds. And when you stumble, and you will, you won't go back to the old you. You'll pause, reset, realign, because that's who you are now. Someone who doesn't quit. Someone who doesn't betray themselves to be accepted. Someone who knows their worth, even on the hard days. Someone who's not waiting to be chosen. They've already chosen themselves. This isn't goodbye. It's a beginning. Walk forward. Light, free, unapologetically whole. You're not rebuilding anymore. You've rebuilt. Now live like it.